first question any platform is going to ask is, what's the hook?
Yes, I did get the sense that she was hiding something.
Looking forward.
You're looking forward. Why don't we push this? Why don't we look forward?
Root was a true champion of Kondak.
You heard it up top. We are back. Doing what we always do every few. That's right, where your hosts get together and do a Whatcha, talking about what they are consuming here on Normies Like Us with your hosts, Colin.
Mike?
And Jacob.
Wow.
That's right. No funny names today. Just a lot of hanging out and fun and games, talking 250. First of all, wow, fellas.
Wow.
Six seasons,
What a milestone.
so to speak. What a milestone.
Wow.
Isn't it?
What year was it when this podcast started?
I think it was 2001.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's so
We've been
impressive.
doing this for about 25 years.
Not actually that many episodes in that context.
Right. No. First episode was May 29th, 2018.
2018. So,
Yeah.
okay, what was the most popular movie of 2018? Keep Googling for us, Mike, because I want to see what was the most normie thing
What
of
was it, like
2018
Batman versus Superman?
when
Dawn
this
of
podcast
Justice?
started, and did we talk about it? Let's see. It maybe was BVS.
You know what it was? Probably
Avengers
Spider-Man Into the
Endgame.
Spider-Verse.
Oh.
Oh,
Didn't Avengers
We had
Endgame come out that
Bumblebee.
year?
We had Venom.
sure.
I'm not. That's 17. It looks like we had
All
Ant-Man and
things
the
we
Wasp.
talked about.
So no, it was maybe
Sure.
later. The Predator,
Sure.
Ready Player One, Halloween reboot came out that year. So
This was
Wow.
pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, pre-Joe Biden as president. Really? I mean, it doesn't seem 2018 when you say that, it doesn't seem that long ago, but it
Yeah.
was actually a long time
It
ago.
was before a lot of crises, Jacob.
no,
Before the
yeah,
Titanic
yeah.
sub, of course.
Oh, no.
That's right.
Oh,
Titanic
no.
2. James Cameron's going to be the king of the sequel one more time.
That's right.
We had Red Dead 2 as the top game, God of War.
Oh, wow.
Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man, and let's say
course.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So that's kind of where we were at.
Wow.
2018.
You're all right, girl.
We've pretty much talked about all that stuff, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
pretty much.
I think we went sicko mode with Travis Scott in 2018 too. So there we go.
That's right.
Great,
We're all
great,
singing
great,
our
great.
favorite
We've been going
song,
sicko mode
Sicko
for-
Mode.
5 years or so.
Oh, you know what? Black Panther and Infinity War.
Was that 2018? Okay.
That's right.
I
I
think
think
so.
Civil War was 2017, I think, and then,
Oh, okay.
and then Black Panther and the Ant-Man and the Wasp were in between.
That's right.
Right?
Yep. Ant-Man and the Wasp is in between the two because that's when he gets stuck in the post creds and then a rat
That's
saves
right.
all of the universe. So
Yeah, simpler time. We didn't have Endgame yet. We didn't we weren't where we are now with Marvel. It's just very interesting.
yeah. A lot
I would
less
say
TV.
2018 was the high point of Marvel.
Yeah.
Which I think I mentioned to you guys before. I was just going through it, and like that era of Marvel was when they were hitting. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Black Panther, Thor Ragnarok. Now, not so.
maybe
the peak
maybe the
of
most
superhero.
normie thing on the planet. Maybe the peak. You're totally right, Mike.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now things are shifting and changing. So first of all, listeners, thanks for listening. If you've been listening for that long, wow, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And yeah, 250. We'll see how long we can keep this rolling. And we always are excited to talk to you and with each other about just either stuff we love, hate, enjoy, been diving into. So that's what we're
That's
here
right.
to do once again. I don't know if there's really questions up at the top, really. I think all we can do is just maybe start by diving in with what we're watching on this Whatcha 250. Let's just jump right into it to have
Let's
my
do it.
original catchphrase. Yeah. Right after this.
Dive on in. We're back. You're on Normies Like Us. As we just mentioned, it's a special episode of 250 Whatcha where we're going to be talking about what we have been consuming. We're going to start with what we're watching. And I'll say what I haven't been watching. I was not on our last episode where you guys were talking about how you watched Ezra Miller's The Flash. Loved the ep, boys. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you for the compliment. Yeah, we had to go back in time to get that episode even come out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, Colin, you said
correcting
you were
minor
trapped in the
changes.
Speed Force.
Right.
That's right, I
and,
was.
Yeah, so I'm glad you
Well,
got
I'll
out of there.
say I was trapped in the Speed Force. Maybe light spoilers. If you don't want to know about this movie that's absolutely bombing, skip ahead just a little bit. I did not watch the movie, but after hearing the episode of you guys talking about it, I did watch that Superman scene. I was stuck in the Speed Force with Nicolas Cage, and
Oh,
there you
sure.
go.
I liked it. I thought it was silly and goofy, and I was happy to see it.
Yeah.
I think in the context of the other, like unalive people brought back from the dead, like all of it together, and I think in a vacuum that scene too, because even for the moment I was like, oh my god, they did it, So it is goofy and fun,
Yeah.
but
That moment wasn't the worst part. I mean, it was
No.
just more like, who is this for? But I guess we know the answer
Yeah.
is it's for
people who've
Colin.
watched any
It's
Kevin Smith
well,
interview.
I
Yeah.
believe it's literally for the man who now has done a podcast saying it was for me, Kevin Smith.
It probably certainly was for
God
him.
bless.
That's
Good
amazing.
for him.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you were on the episode, Colin, because of course I mentioned the Flash TV show used to be a favorite of ours, going back to like 2016, 2014, back in the
Man.
olden times. And yeah, maybe that'll come up later because maybe I started rewatching that show on Netflix. I don't know.
I
Ooh,
gotcha. Well, I know you
interesting.
had mentioned off pod, and time to share with the viewers, that you went kind of through and finished some of the blind spots in the DC Filmiverse, right? That you kind of never
Yeah.
caught. Where are you at on that journey?
Of course, we've talked about my Marvel ranking of all 35 films and TV shows or
I
whatever.
think we settled on it's like 49 or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
So I wanted to do the DC equivalent, and it's actually much
Wow.
easier because there's only like 11 or 12 films made so far. But yeah, on Letterboxd, I ranked it all out. I saw the ones that I was missing in the lineup, which was Black Adam, which came out last fall, and then Shazam,
great.
Fury of the Gods, which came out this spring. You may not know that because literally nobody saw that in theaters. Even less people than went and saw The Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
So now I
shocking.
have, so let's see, it's 4, 8, 12.
Yeah, the count here.
14 movies. All
Does
told.
that equal Halloween now? Or is Halloween still have one more? Because it was 13, I think, when we did the episode, but I think we've gotten ends at this point. I'm not sure if whatever.
Right.
But,
Yeah, I'd have
vaguely the same amount of
calculate that.
effort.
Corey is my favorite DC character, Mike.
Yeah,
Yes,
Corey
of course.
Cunningham.
Corey
Cunningham.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is not counting, of course, Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2, which are yet to be released.
Yes.
But I made my ranking, and
Well, sorry, hold on.
Yeah.
Before you get to that. Now, those two you mentioned adding to your list, those were first time reactions to Black Adam and Shazam 2.
Yes.
You had not seen those? Oh,
Had not seen
give me
either
some
of those.
initial thoughts about
Yeah,
both
because I
those
haven't seen them
films.
either. Yeah.
Oh, well, they're both on Max now, so you can watch the entire DCEU on Max, the one to watch for DCEU.
Nobody believes what you're saying.
I hate Max, so I hate saying it. Anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, I did not see those in theaters. I don't have too many thoughts about them. I thought neither of them was like particularly good or interesting. Black Adam,
I think The Rock disagrees with you, but yes, go ahead.
Right.
Black Adam, very generic movie. Failed to hold my attention for very long. Maybe I just have a short attention span. But The Rock was in it. I was more into Dr. Fate and Hawkman, some DC characters that I'm seeing on the big screen for the first time. That's kind of cool, I guess. You got Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, and they're the Justice Society, which is different than the Justice League. This is all explained in Shazam: Fury of the Gods, of course.
Okay.
They're different, But
Mike, would
Yeah.
you ever watch this movie?
No. I watched some
you don't
clips.
want to be a DCEU completionist like me.
Especially now that we know that it's got legs and it's going to keep going for a long time. Yeah, I certainly want to go back and
Yeah.
visit the wreckage. Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah. this
Is
more
there
of
a scene
post-mortem.
in The Flash where when he's running,
an
you see The
autopsy.
Rock like salute him in like the Speed Force?
No, I wish.
Oh, okay. Black Adam
what's funny
gives
is
him a
that-
rock bottom out of the Speed Force. No.
Yeah,
Mhm.
of course,
Yep.
Black Adam and Shazam in the comics are very closely connected characters, obviously sharing the same sort of lore and stuff. Black Adam is, Captain Marvel or Shazam, as you might call them,
Mm-hmm.
their rival, right? Usually a villain of sorts. But here he's made into more of an anti-hero. He's a hero that kills people. And that's the big dilemma of this movie, is that he kills people, and the good guys like Hawkman and Dr. Fate are like, hey, maybe don't kill people. He's like, nah, I'm going to kill people.
Right.
And that's mostly the movie. So just saved
He
you about
fights-
2 hours.
Yeah, I saw him fight, the whole Justice Society, so I'm sure he looks really strong and powerful. He's a very strong man, with a strong
Yes.
ego and doesn't need to be looking like a
The
super
balance
strong
of
guy.
power in the DCEU has changed, you might say.
Oh my
and then,
God.
of course, our boy Superman shows up at the end, Henry Cavill, probably for the
Great.
last time.
Dog. He
Yeah.
looks it's maybe the best he's ever looked. Would you agree with that?
Maybe, yeah.
I'll pull
But
it
Henry
up.
Cavill, no longer Superman,
handsome, Mike.
no longer Geralt, but he's still there. So
No longer mustache guy in Fallout.
no, I wish he was
Right.
coming back for the new Mission Impossible, cocking his
man.
arms.
Gosh, that movie was great.
But yeah,
so-
it's pretty skippable Black Adam overall.
And then Fury of the
Shazam
Gods.
2, also pretty skippable. And I actually liked Shazam 1, and I rewatched that. So I watched all three of those movies, all three of the Shazam movies, if you will,
Nice, yeah.
in succession.
The Wizard Trilogy.
Yes.
Yes.
Jimon Hansu as the Wizard is the only thing connecting these
Hmm.
two franchises. Obviously, Zachary Levi and The Rock never share any screen time as characters. But of course, Shazam 1, I actually liked. It's actually decent. And yet, Shazam 2, again, just not very interesting. I couldn't really muster any kind of giving a shit for this movie.
Ooh.
And
Hey,
pretty skippable.
means nothing to you, Mike. Again, listeners, skip ahead if you care about spoilers. But Jacob,
I
the
don't care.
complexity of such a stupid plot that literally it's like, the staff's broken. Find the staff. We found the staff. Find the golden apple now. You're like, there's a second MacGuffin. This is so
Yeah.
lazy.
Yeah, and they're like trying to add to the lore of Shazam, but it's just not interesting. And the villains aren't really interesting. It's like the three sisters who are the daughters of Atlas or whatever. They're like gods, Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, and Rachel Zegler.
What up?
Shazam, nobody cares about this franchise, even though the first one, like I said, pretty good. Pretty good origin story. It's cute. It's fun.
Yeah. A little bit of Power Rangers vibes almost at the end there. I liked the first one too. I think Zachary Levi was pretty charming in it. It was fine, and we get Superman at the end of that, sort of, from like the neck down.
Yes. Well, that's so yeah, you get no head Superman in that one. Then in this one, guess who shows up? Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Wow. I gotta say,
Yeah.
Wow.
she does have probably the best superhero theme song. Am I wrong?
I do like that song.
Dun,
It
dun,
comes
dun,
in
Yeah.
dun, 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 like that's sick.
Yeah.
That's
You
sick.
guys don't
Most
remember
iconic
back
in the
to the
DCEU.
fucking 4-hour Justice League cut where every 5 minutes it would say
The
wailing.
chanting.
Yeah.
That's not her
Yes,
theme
chanting.
song. That's just wailing.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you get
Yes.
the guitar.
But she's tied to it.
To the
it's
wailing,
all
too.
it's all together.
And this
I
had me
guess, yeah.
wondering: is Wonder Woman the one that makes the most appearances in the most movies throughout this universe? Because she shows up at the end of this one at Shazam: Fury of the Gods,
Mhm.
and they do a bit where they just show her body, and then the camera pans up, and you actually see her face, and it is Gal Gadot.
Okay.
So that was funny, but she kind of just shows up at the end
Is
to
it?
be the MacGuffin that like saves everybody.
Great.
And then of course she shows up for a brief scene in The Flash. So I feel like she has the most individual appearances
Oh, she's in the Flash.
out of any character.
Yeah.
She's
There's
in The
like
Flash.
an early scene with Batfleck and Ezra doing a little thing.
That's
Basically,
funny.
everyone is in The Flash.
That's cool.
Everyone
Yeah.
in the Justice League is in The Flash except for Superman and Cyborg.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They do a dumb bit where they touch the lasso of truth and then they're talking about how hot she is and Barry says, "I've never had sex," and I'm not making that up. It's a great
They
bit.
do
So,
that.
I
They do
guess
that
Barry
to
is a
Joss
virgin
Whedon.
canonically.
Oh.
Is that really what he said? They do that in the Joss Whedon Justice
They
League.
do.
You
They
guys
do it
remember?
too many
That's like a
times, yeah.
recycled joke.
Jason
So,
Momoa, Aquaman,
very
touches
funny.
him, is like,
He's like, "You're so
beautiful."
hot."
Yeah.
That's like what he does. He's like, "I want to
His
bang you,
charisma
Wonder
pulls
Woman."
it off, I think, but once you see
Yeah.
it 3 times, it's like, guys,
Yeah.
please.
Oh,
No, Flash says, "I've never had sex."
he
while
says, "I
touching the lasso of
never
truth."
had sex."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Sorry,
really
Barry.
bums me out.
Please. Yeah.
Well, he never. Well,
And that's
he
adult
barely knows
Barry
Iris
Allen,
West
like
in his
20-something
universe,
year
right?
old.
Yeah, that
just
doesn't
met.
mean anything to me. He can. There are other people he could be meeting.
Yeah.
He's too
Harry
busy being
finishes pretty
sad about
quick.
his mom being dead.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeez.
I don't
too.
know. Also, if I was
So-
struck by lightning, I'm not sure if my penis would ever work again. No, go ahead, continue.
But yeah,
It just makes him super fast, you know. When he's-
Well, again, it could
Yes.
he could be handicapped in different ways.
gone in a
Yeah.
flash, done in a flash. Anyway, so after this journey, clearing out your blind spots,
Yes.
what is the rankings?
Oh,
coming
yes.
at then?
well,
Where
this
do we
is what I
land?
wanted to get to because I posted this in our little Normies chat, and Colin said he thought my top 5 was wild. So I wanted to
Yes,
get his opinion
do.
because in my opinion, there's like 5 good movies in this whole
Right.
franchise. So I was like, these are
and
the
just
only 5 that are any good.
Remind me
Yeah.
of this real quick before you read this off. This does not include Peacemaker.
Oh, you know what? I should have added Peacemaker, like I added the Marvel series to my Marvel, but I did not.
It's like the one. But again,
Yeah.
does it even count? I mean, technically, Ezra's in it. Do you guys remember that Ezra's
Yeah,
in it?
and Jason Momoa.
And Jason
silhouettes
Momoa.
Yes.
of the
Is
characters.
Gal Gadot in it? That might
No.
go back to your argument, Jake. Oh, I guess not. Yeah.
I think
I don't think
a
Gal
couple
and
of the
Superman were
Justice
actually
League
there.
show up at the end, but of course
Their
Amelia
characters are.
Harcourt and the Steve Agee character. Those are the
Johnny
Amanda Waller's
Economos.
minions have shown up
Mm.
multiple times within different movies. They also even show up again in Shazam: Fury of the Gods. After the credits scene. Who cares, right? But
yeah, I guess Wonder Woman is in Peacemaker at the end. So
Yeah.
fair enough.
But okay, I'll just give you my top
remember.
5, and these are like the
Yeah.
only decent ones, like I'm saying. So number 1, the Suicide Squad, right? Of
The
course,
Suicide Squad.
the best movie in the whole universe, this DCE
Mhm.
universe.
One of my
I think-
favorite movies in the last 10 years. Just a
Ratcatcher
brilliant film.
2. A lot of the commentary is great. Rick
Yeah.
Flag, Peacemaker, all that stuff. Idris Elba is great. I think, yeah, I agree. We'll see where the other next 4 are, but I agree with it
funny-
being high.
Yeah, and of course that's James Gunn directing. James Gunn is now taking over the DCU, the new universe, rebooting. So that's why I have faith in him, because I do like James Gunn as a filmmaker. And by the way, my list, even if I don't go through all of it, it is bookended by Suicide Squad. So the best movie is The Suicide Squad.
Oh,
The worst movie is Suicide Squad 2016.
It all comes
Akin
back
to
circle.
your Marvel list, where I believe it's Thor and Thor, you said, right?
Yes,
It's
Thor Ragnarok and
Wow.
Thor
Dark
the Dark
World.
World.
I
So
love
very
that
interesting
consistency.
how
or
that works.
Yeah.
parallels. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
You love Harley, you hate Harley.
Yes,
Mhm.
and Harley comes up again. So number 1, The Suicide Squad. Number
Yep.
2, Birds of Prey.
Whoa.
you
Just
do
a
love Harley.
fun movie. You got to give it credit. Colin's shaking his head.
I give it no credit.
I don't know if I'll go
Mike.
number 2. I think there's some fun
My
stuff
second
with Ewan
favorite
McGregor, but
movie.
anyway, go for it. I mean,
You're reminding me why maybe
Mary
it should
Elizabeth
be
Winstead
number
also
2,
is
but
like one of my
yes,
special
yes.
Exactly.
actresses.
You love Mew, Mike.
Yeah.
You love
Well,
Mew.
again, it's there's a pretty big drop off after number 1, and the
Okay.
bar is pretty low. So, yeah, it's the second best DCEU movie in my opinion.
Best breakfast sandwich ever filmed, I think.
That's right, and I do
easily.
love breakfast sandwiches. So
at
it all makes
least,
sense.
at least that, yes.
So we
Okay.
got The Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey. Number 3, Shazam 1.
Hmm.
Number 4, Wonder Woman 1. Number 5, Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Number 5.
The long-awaited. When did that come out?
Yeah.
That came out in like 2020. That was
Yeah.
like
Oh,
the
that's
height of
why
the
that year went
pandemic,
so
I think.
bad. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I wonder why
Hopefully
have
not.
Wonder Women, Jesus Christ. Why have Wonder Woman that low? To me
That low,
that seems
number 4. I guess that's
Better than
kind
Birds
low,
of
but-
Prey, I would think objectively, to most people.
That was
Maybe
a
to
film that
most people.
truly broke ground. It was a Black Panther style moment where people were like, Jesus Christ, women can be superheroes. This is an amazing film. It's a moment. And I
will
just
say-
think that's my number 2.
No
for
Man's Land,
sure.
yeah. I thought
I
that was
like
great.
Wonder Woman number 1. Like, to me, it's like The Suicide Squad, then a drop off, then 2 through 4. So Birds of Prey, Shazam, and Wonder Woman, all around the same range for me. I think Shazam and Wonder Woman are both
Plateauing.
pretty good origin stories. That both had
Wow.
pretty bad sequels that didn't make my top 5.
Isn't that
Um,
wild?
Yeah. So that's my top 5. Then there's a little bit of a drop off. Then you have Aquaman 1. Still pretty a fun movie. Then you have
Yeah.
The Flash, Man of Steel, Shazam: Fury of the Gods, Black Adam, Batman vs Superman, Wonder Woman 1984, Justice League theatrical cut, and then Suicide Squad. So basically a bunch
Wow.
of garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bottom of my list is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Here's why. I don't count that as a film. I don't think that's fair. It's just this sort of blob, rough draft cut that just, in my opinion, it's just not refined. He says it's what he wanted to put out. That is such a lie. It is just him being like, and here's the kitchen sink or whatever. And to me, that's not a movie. So
I put it higher than the
down.
theatrical cut because I think it's an improvement on the theatrical cut. Even if it's not a great movie, I did like it better than the original Justice League cut that we got. So yeah,
it almost behaves as its own mini series the way he puts chapters in. But yeah, it tells a better narrative than the original cut for sure. And if we would have thrown Peacemaker in, then I guess we should include the Snyder cut. So I'm cool with it.
When I like a lot of the added scenes,
Cyborg becomes
there's
the
some
main
stuff I don't
character
like.
actually.
Yeah,
100%.
Cyborg is better.
Andy's great.
The Flash is better. It just shows what a disaster the theatrical cut was, and why I hated it so much is because it was so middle managed by the studio, where they took a different director to finish it halfway through. And it's just like a jumble of scenes that have different tones, and it's just a complete mess. So I think even if you don't like the Snyder cut, I think it's an improvement over that.
Can I project one last thing onto you about why I think you like the Snyder cut? And I want our opinion on this, and let's talk the wrap up of the DCEU. I think the one thing that worked about this thing was the casting. I think you like this movie, Jacob, because you like seeing the Justice League. They're all pretty likable actors.
Yeah. And all I've ever wanted was a good Justice League movie. Like I said last week, I was a DC kid growing up, not a Marvel kid. Yeah. So if I could get a Avengers Infinity War / Endgame level Justice League movie, I would be happy. And I don't think the Snyder cut is that good, but one can dream in the future that someday the DC
maybe James Gunn will be the one. Maybe he can deliver.
That's right.
You would hope so. I hope for your sake that they do.
Did you, at the end of the day, Mike, like this casting, or do you think the DCU will be better casting?
That's tricky. I think I mentioned with Jacob too. I think the casting was really good.
I think the casting was not the problem of the Justice League. Like I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I like Henry Cavill well enough. I like Jason Momoa. I like Gal Gadot. I like
Ezra Miller's performance.
The Flash, but
I don't like Ezra Miller. I think their performance is fairly, when they're on, they're on. Like especially in the Flash movie, it's like okay, but overall a good roster. They just didn't do anything with them. And I know you have a soft spot for the TV Flash, so yeah, they nailed the casting. That's the only thing that they nailed. So unfortunately, you have to pivot from a Margot Robbie or all these characters.
And Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. She's now the Harley Quinn.
You can't leave Barbie behind
in the future, right?
Right. True. Give me that crossover.
We'll see how Lady Gaga does in Joker Part 2 or whatever it's called.
I'm sure she'll crush.
Yeah,
but
Colin,
interesting rankings. Yeah.
One thing I just want to say about the Flash too. Don't you think it would have been better if those cameos had John Wesley Shipp and Grant Gustin in some capacity?
Again, as the kid who rented the first quote unquote Flash movie from Blockbuster, which was the pilot of the John Wesley Shipp movie where he looked like Barry Allen stepping out of a comic book. I don't understand how you cannot put that man in it. That is insane to me, but what do I know?
Max,
especially if we have Nick Cage.
You're adding all the Supermans and Batman.
That seems so insulting. It seems like the mandate was just movie stars, not TV stars, huh?
They keep them separate.
Well, it's more like people don't care about the Flash, so we just want to pack as many Batmans and Supermans as we can into this thing.
But even Adam West was a movie star. Like he had a Batman movie. Like it seems like across the board, it was truly like
and George Reeves, the first
caliber of star Superman we're having. Was in those, but he was in those black and white movie serials. Like it's so weird for them to be like, but whatever you do, never acknowledge the fact that the Flash has a beloved fan base of rabid TV fans. Do not
just don't acknowledge the Arrowverse at all, which RIP just ended. So
no, and you don't even get Smallville Clark Kent if we're gonna do all the Superman. They definitely just said fuck it. And the problem is,
that's so wild.
Teenagers, that's like a huge market of the movie-going audience, and you're just like, they love this Flash show, and you're not going to throw them a bone? Like, no wonder nobody showed up.
9 seasons.
Yeah,
It's
9
so
seasons
crazy.
the Flash got. Well,
That's so
I really,
crazy.
I don't have really movie stuff. I've been watching shows. Colin, do you have movie stuff? Because I think I got a pretty good segue over to
No.
TV. I think if we're ready to
No.
ride after this
Yeah.
update on the DCU.
Yeah,
Cool.
please.
let's
So,
ride.
As we've been saying, right?
Let's
You
cook.
love the Flash, so I think we're going to transition over there. But what they could have done with this Flash movie is had a reverse Flash played by one of the TV show actors who's upset that Ezra took everything from them. I was supposed to be the Flash, and you took it.
That would be funny, Mike.
Like they have a
Gustin
grudge. Yeah,
as reverse
yeah.
Flash.
That's one
Yeah,
way to
I was
do
telling
it.
you like the one season where they had Savitar, I think, where
Mhm.
it's very similar to the movie where it's Dark Flash and then it turns out to be Barry Allen from the future or whatever. So
Yeah,
very similar TV plot line that they did.
right. I was you in another universe, but that's the end of the DCU update. Let's move over then to talking what we're watching on TV right after this. Normies Like Us.
We're back. There are Numbers Like Us. Talking Whatcha here on a 250 special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we just came from DCU to TV, but anything last you want to mention
That's
as we
right.
dive into this segment?
Yeah, one last thing on the Flash that Colin you might find interesting. So, like I mentioned, no Grant Gustin, no John Wesley Shipp in this movie. They did have this, and this has sort of come out afterwards, but Jay Garrick briefly appears in that whole montage of like cameos. Jay Garrick from the Flash show, played by Teddy Sears. He's of course the guy with the metal helmet and everything. The Silver Age Flash.
He's not the Flash.
He's not. As it turns out, he's not Jay Garrick in the show. He's actually Zoom. But pre that twist, people think he's Jay Garrick. So he appears as Jay Garrick in the Flash. But they asked that actor afterwards, Teddy Sears. He's like, I don't think I'm in that. Like, I don't remember signing up to be in that. So no one knows if they just reused footage or how they got that footage. But it's just another page of like, actors
get paid?
Like, that's the other question is like, they can just use actors' likenesses now without paying them. I don't know how it works, but
Right, technically that's not the character he played. If that is a version of the Flash, if he turned out to be Zoom, so it's like, hey dog, it's not you. We just did a CG thing. I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah, like no one
this.
knows. Like I was reading about it, and like they don't know if it's like reused footage or if it's CG or what. It looks like Teddy Sears as that character, but again, they asked him, and he's like, I don't remember shooting anything for this. I don't remember signing anything for this.
Why wouldn't you use the John Wesley Shipp version of that character? That's so insane.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost like they don't know what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think Andy Muschietti, again, the director, was now chosen to make Batman the Brave and the Bold by James Gunn. So I guess they just like that he got that movie across the finish line after like 5 years. Like he's the one that actually completed it and put it out. I think they knew from the beginning it was going to be a disaster in terms of marketing and like PR and like just trying to get this thing out and hope for the best. But turns out it went even worse than they thought.
Well, I think it's pretty decently directed. I mean, really, you're doing a Parent Trap thing. Some of the action scenes are good, even if they are in a good, as far as directing, they're in a CG like empty space. But like some of the ideas of the action scenes were all right. I don't know. Maybe he's got something in the tank for a Batman movie, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But you said now, after watching it and being like, why didn't they give me my Flash? Are you revisiting your
That's
Flash?
right. So I went back. I'm second screening The Flash. It's a great, throw it on the second screen while you're working and stuff. Netflix now has every season of The Flash, every season of Arrow, every season of Legend of Tomorrow. Now that the entire Arrowverse is done with The Flash ending this year.
Okay.
You can rewatch it all now on Netflix. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And I mean, if I do go through like the whole Arrowverse, that's probably going to take like a year. It's like 40 seasons of TV.
Right.
We'll see how much I get into it. I was never into Arrow, but I might go through Arrow. I like Legends of Tomorrow. It's a lot of fun, at least the first couple seasons that I remember from. So we'll see how long I stick with that.
Dog, I was at where you're at when quarantine started. Whatever the Flash was up to at that point was my first. And from there, I was like, you know what? I never did Arrow. You know what? Legend of Tomorrow's on here. Legend of Tomorrow. Oh, You know what? Black Lightning.
Black Lightning.
Never seen a second of it.
Catwoman.
Yeah, did not do Batwoman. I wouldn't.
Sure. Ruby
But
Rose.
yeah, it's a great ride, dog. And can I tell you, out of all those, my favorite was Legends of Tomorrow. I love the heights of the silliness. So if
Yeah.
you do, you're in for a good ride. And
It's very
how
silly.
satisfying is that fucking first season of Flash, dog?
Oh, the first season of Flash is so good. And, I was recommending to Mike, like, if you're watching Flashpoint Paradox and getting into some more Flash stuff, just throw the
Absolutely.
Flash season 1 on the second screen while you're working. You don't have to pay attention to every second of it because it is a CW show. So there's a lot of scenes of like just unnecessary kind of, drama, I guess, that they had to throw in there.
We gotta
But
do 22
the first
episodes
season,
of this thing, yeah.
yeah, it's very strong and has a strong mystery behind it. Where you're like, what the fuck's going on? It does lose quality over time, and I did tap out of the Flash at like season 5 or 6, and there are 9 seasons total. So now I'm going to go through it the whole season for the first time and see how it holds up.
Nice.
That's
That's
my
a
plan.
good entry point, maybe. Yeah, I could always use a second screen show. And
Yeah.
for other normies out there too, I think that's a good recommendation. Legend of Tomorrow, Arrowverse, it's all on Netflix now. If you've never
Endless
watched it too.
hours of content. You
Yeah.
got big crossovers, Crisis on Infinity Earth, Flashpoint Paradox, of course they do that as well. So, if you like DC, this is the best DC media live action that you can get from the last decade. So
Guess where it is? It's not on Max.
It's on the
It's on
CW. It's on
Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah.
Incredible.
Jesus
if I may
Christ.
kind of throw I have a good segue to 2 things that are on our list here. So I'm on Netflix, so let's stay there, right? One of the things I've been watching, probably won't do big spoilers if you guys haven't seen it, but the Black Mirror season 6. Have you guys seen any of this? Are you fans of the anthology series generally? Colin, you seen any of 6 yet?
I watched the first 2. Typically, I am in the past couple years, probably since the movie, which I really did think was a huge achievement. I have kind of lapsed as a fan, I'll be honest.
Gotcha. And Jacob, how about
I think
you?
it's definitely fallen off a little bit. I was, a fan from the beginning. I really liked the first couple seasons, especially when it was more, it was like the BBC production before it became a full-time Netflix production.
I believe
think it was
you
a little
told me about it.
stronger. Yeah. And I've seen every season up until now, but I have not yet watched any of the new season. I know the first one, Joan, is awful. I know like the premise of that. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a parody of a Black Mirror episode or something. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, there's been some talk, again, it won't spoil anything, but they are leaning a lot closer into horror and like thriller stuff here than just general sci-fi. It's almost like it's a Twilight Zone analog instead of
they did
Black Mirror. Go ahead.
They asked the creator Charlie Brooker about this, and he's like, well, Black Mirror was never supposed to just be about technology. It's more about like human nature and stuff like that. So we're trying to do something a little different with this season.
I don't think that's true.
I disagree with it. I mean, I know you're the creator of it, but I think it works best when it's right on the edge of discussing a piece of technology or something that we're using now and showing kind of the literally being the Black Mirror, reflecting the screens that we look at all day, and a potential cautionary tales, let's say, about technology and society intersecting. And when we're doing more scary stuff, it's just, I don't think that's what Black Mirror is built for. Even the name of it, really.
Yeah, Black Mirror is like the phone screen when it's off.
It means
is
the phone or the TV, correct? Yeah.
But how many episodes can you do where it's like, oh, you vote up and down on your phone for, if
it's social
people should
media
be executed
bad.
or something? Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
like I feel like they've done every like they've sort of gone. I mean, I guess you could do more with like AI and things like that are kind of now becoming very popular in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, now that script can be going. But anyway, I'm on the very last episode, and weirdly, the final episode is shaping up to be my favorite. But overall, I consider it to be kind of mid. But the last one does have a good hook that I'm enjoying.
Do you have a favorite in the series, Mike?
I don't know if I have a favorite in the entire series. Playtest I like, but it's less.
Yes.
I think Nosedive is still one of the strongest ones they've ever done.
Nosedive.
Which one is Nosedive?
Bryce Dallas Howard one. But see, that's the one that it's like,
guys,
now that they've done that, I feel like a lot of episodes are like similar to that premise where it's like,
that's just the best version of that. Yeah, but I think that by itself is good.
But I really like the 15 million merits or whatever from the first season, which was, I feel like encapsulates every theme that Black Mirror was going for, where it's like the guy
where they're riding the bikes.
Yeah, and the guy gets his own show with where he's holding the glass to his neck and stuff. And then I like the one where the prime minister.
At the end of the day,
It
Yeah.
fucks the pig, the
Fucks
first
the
one.
pig.
That
Yeah,
one's crazy.
Rory Kinnear is incredible in that
Yeah.
one. I think my favorite,
Yeah.
and this might be a good segue to something else you're watching, Mike, but I think it's
Hmm.
called Bear, the Bear, or White Bear.
Oh yeah,
But it's
White
the one
Bear.
about the woman who gets like chased by the paparazzi, right? Is that what
Yeah.
that one
It's like a
was?
Well, there's
fake
like a
hunt.
twist
And
where
turns
she's
out
like,
she's being hunted, but really she's did a
She's the
fucking
bad
bad
person.
thing. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a prison
I really
sentence
like
that
that
she
one.
does this infinitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
a good
gets her
one.
memory wiped.
More recently, I also like the Star Trek one with what's his name, where he's
Our
like,
guy from Breaking Bad. Yeah.
yes,
Todd.
Landry, yeah, Todd, and then I also like the one
Oh,
where
that's
Anthony
a classic.
He clones his
Mackie
coworkers or whatever and
has
has
gay
him
sex
trapped.
with his
you know I
friend in the
fucking
video
love
game.
Striking Buddies or whatever.
Yeah.
the fuck it's
Oh,
called.
Striking Vipers.
Striking
Yeah.
Vipers, yeah.
That's
That's
the
a
best
great
thing
one. You know
Anthony
what?
Mackie's ever
Here's
done.
the thing. I'm glad I asked this because listing them off, I love Black Mirror. It turns
Yeah,
out
yeah.
I
Those
are
love
good
hearing
ones.
all those episodes.
I just
I
feel
miss
like
them.
this
So,
season doesn't give me that
yeah.
feeling, but the last episode
Yeah.
is. So mileage
Okay.
may vary,
Okay.
but you know, I had to bear with it. And you're right, Colin. That is a good segue. Because to go to Hulu now, you know, I've been doing a lot of cooking in the last couple of years. I love The Bear season 1, and we just got The Bear season 2. Two of my favorite things now: mental health and cooking food. Wow. I love to see it.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Mike. I don't
Yeah.
even want your opinion on the show. I just want to point out and ask you this angle of it.
Mhm.
You're a good-looking white guy with tattoos who cooks.
Yeah.
What is this representation? Are you feeling just so seen on TV right now?
Well, you know, also very mentally stable people. So I'm
You
like,
need to move
hell
to
yeah, bro,
Chicago.
it's me. I
Get
think
started in the
stock is
restaurant
going up
industry.
for people who can cook with tattoos on their forearms. So that's heartening for me to
dog.
see, you know?
Dog.
Yeah,
Um,
well, that's always been a thing
yeah.
where I feel like a lot of the back of house chefs and stuff are just very tatted up and like just.
But
always
it is
But there's a
sexy.
conversation
It is
happening on
se-
now.
that-
Now we're
Yeah.
Jacob, there is
Sure.
it is being pointed out that it is in the way that big butts in rap music videos at a moment, sexy forearms serving food covered in tattoos are having a moment right
the
now.
like one of the
Yeah.
only green flags straight white guys have apparently is cooking and having forearm tattoos right now in society.
Right.
So I'll take
One
it. I'll
fact
I'm
take it.
so
Okay.
proud of you, dude.
Thank you,
Lip.
thank you.
people are thirsting after him. You know,
Yep.
Lip from Shameless,
And
Jeremy.
not like a conventionally like
Dog.
attractive bone structure, but like he's good.
Yes.
Looking
Yeah.
dude's got great hair, great performance. Yeah, no. And then they have
Yeah.
Will Poulter now,
And,
looking like a
Well,
snack.
I wanted to say, Jacob, I know you haven't caught up on it. Mike, I watched this whole season as well. But
Mhm.
when fucking Adam Warlock shows up, Mike, it is like, call me the Sahara because I got a thirst, dog. Like, look at this fucking
For
guy.
that guy?
It is,
He's handsome in
Jacob,
it.
again, in the
I've never thought of
context
that guy
of
as like a
him
sex
making
symbol.
pastries and he's got like stubble and tattoos and he's like
Sure.
talking to you in his British accent, and you're thinking that guy's got the soul gem trapped in his forehead.
Yeah. And
Well, I'm
he's
glad
just,
he's maturing from his like weird looking kid phase where he was
Yeah.
just playing
God
weird
bless.
kids. Yeah.
well, I'm
God
seeing
bless.
that on social media now. They're like, how did this become this? And there's a lot of like thirst videos over this version of Will Poulter's
Oh,
character.
sure.
So good for him. He had a glow
Terrible.
I have
up, you
heard
know?
some discourse about so the main guy and the main lady, Ao
Yeah, Sydney.
Edabiri,
Yeah.
the whole discourse
The
now is like,
best.
are they going to get together? Like, do you ship them?
The Ross and
no,
Rachel of
That's
it,
so
yeah.
dumb. No,
Right.
We'll see
not at
where they
all.
go. I won't spoil
I think
much
it'll
of the show,
they'll
but-
stretch it out for a few seasons if they actually do get together. Like it'll be kind of a few seasons down the line.
Right. But I will say there's one episode called Seven Fishes, I believe. It's the 6th episode. It's a flashback to a Christmas time, and we have Jamie Lee Curtis as his mother. A lot of great guest stars. We have Bob Odenkirk. We have John Mulaney, Spider-Ham. A lot of really, really good cameos, and it's one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen. But Jamie Lee Curtis is really putting some great tape out there. It's like some of the best stuff
Wow.
I've seen her done, like ever. So
Nice.
I
great,
point
great
something
season.
out really dumb for the deep Marvel heads. If
Mm-hmm.
you watched the Punisher Netflix show,
John
guess
Bernthal.
what? Fucking John Barenthal is in it, and guess what? The cousin, Eben Moss Bacharach, is Micro. He plays Microchip,
Right.
the partner to the Punisher in that. They play best friends in this too. It's so fucking wild.
Wow, yeah. And he's, again,
And John
Bernthal
Bernthal
is
plays the
great.
guy's brother, right? That
Yeah.
like
In
He
season
plays
one,
the
we know
bear.
about Michael. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
he's
that
at
guy
particular
also
Christmas.
Eben Moss, whatever. That guy was also in Andor, and he was
cool.
he had a good part in Andor, right?
yeah.
Dirty Star Wars boy. I would like to
Wow,
see that.
okay.
Star Wars
Shout
boy.
out to our Cargo Bay pod, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe I'll
And,
finally
That's
go.
right. Gotta
No,
love
yeah.
Andor.
But I absolutely loved it. Again, it's stressful watch. I said to you, Jacob, that it's kind of Uncut Gems energy in a kitchen, and I saw a review come out like a day later that said that, and I'm like, who's listening to me?
That's amazing.
But it's great, and it does what a good season 2 should do, which is take some of the ancillary side characters from season 1 and really expand and explore their backstory and arcs. So we get kind of the whole kitchen staff is more fleshed out. Some of them get dedicated episodes, and I think it's a really good way to handle kind of the growth of not only the show but the restaurant. And so again, great second season, which might be a good segue to A Strange New World that is also attempting to be a good second season, maybe expanding on our other cast members. But Star Trek, we had to get one in. We were going to do one this week, but the Whatcha came
Hooray!
up. We can at least talk about it. Strange New World.
That's right.
Talk about
Take it
it.
away.
And
We'll probably do an episode on maybe at the finale or something. Talk Strange New World in full.
A wrap up of this. Yep. But we have 2
maybe
episodes
this
as of now.
season, maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike, what you were saying about the Uncut Gems vibe with that show, The Bear, that makes a lot of sense. Having worked back a house before, and I saw a little bit of the first season. I need to get back into it, but I'm definitely going to keep watching it because that is what the experience of working back at the house at a restaurant can be very chaotic and stressful. So I'm glad they're capturing that energy. But yeah, Strange New Worlds, new season, 2 episodes out.
Not chaotic energy.
No.
Yeah. I like it so far. I'm waiting for more episodes, but so far it's been pretty strong. Mostly just wrapping up storylines that were kind of cliffhangered at the end of the first season. So I'm looking forward to them to getting into some new adventures going forward as well.
Yeah, I kind of didn't expect them to get both of those things resolved so quickly.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on with Una and then Sung,
Yeah.
But Colin, what do you think of the first 2 episodes?
So check it out. I was primed, dude. I took a little vacation into the Speed Force recently and was with my family during that and was with my dad and was like, yo, check it out. New episodes of my favorite Star Trek TV show are dropping. While we have my Apple TV, I want to show you guys new Star Trek to get you guys into it, my brother and my dad. So we watched the pilot and they were like, this is dope. My dad left, and on the flight home, they had on the plane 2nd and 3rd episodes. So he is like cranking away at this show. I'm like, that's great. I started total rewatch. I burned through season 1 like in a day. I have like the fucking day off when I get home. It fucking ruled, Mike. I'm like, this is great. I love Strange New Worlds. Dived into these 2 new episodes, and they're fine. I'm kind of like you guys, where I'm like, oh, I didn't really want to see them take the easy way out on this with both these episodes. And you guys are obviously much more next-gen guys than I am. So that 2nd episode, I really wasn't just equipped for just like a total quiet talk 'em up episode, which I didn't really love. But I do respect is a Star Trek staple.
Yeah, it's the measure of the man type episode, the courtroom drama.
Court martial, I think, from the TOS or something.
Yeah, there's the drumhead also from the Next Generation, which is a good one. This one was okay, not as good as Measure of the Man, of course.
Yeah,
it's like every argument I was like, yeah, of course. Like, of
honestly,
course.
the first episode of TNG is a courtroom drama when Q's like, humans are bad, prove me wrong.
Right.
Oh, I guess.
Far point. The thing is, with being a Trek person, having seen all the earlier shows and stuff, you see a lot of tropes kind of come up again and maybe not done as well. So like the whole Una being augmented thing was already fucking done by Deep Space Nine, of course, with Dr. Bashir, who's genetically modified, and that's a whole thing. So I feel like, I mean, if you're going into it having not seen these other Trek shows, it might seem more interesting, but having seen so many Trek, it's like I've kind of been there, done that. It's not a bad episode at all. Like I thought it was totally fine, like you said, Colin.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like the second one a lot more than the first one. The first one's another take on we have to steal the Enterprise when we're not supposed to go do a mission, right? Like that's pretty much every TOS. It
feels like
movie.
A movie. Yeah, you're right.
It was
I like
fine.
that one because you see Klingons And I like that. And of course, Strange New Worlds started as a spin-off from Discovery. Discovery had some very controversial looking Klingons where they just completely changed the look of them. But now they're like, maybe those were like an offshoot of the normal Klingons. And here we
Just
get much
like the
more.
TOS ones. We don't talk about that. Yeah.
Yes. Well, the TOS ones, they didn't have the forehead ridges and stuff. Obviously, makeup wasn't where it was at then.
No, but they asked Worf at one point, and I think DS9 is like, we do not discuss it. Like
Yeah,
they
well,
don't want to
Tribbles-
explain it. They
Tribbles
just,
and tribulations. Yeah.
Yeah,
we
Tribbles
don't
in
bring it
time.
up. Yeah.
But so it was
Yeah.
fun to see those Klingons in episode 1. Yeah.
That totally could have been a stretched out plot for a movie where they're just trying to false flag the Federation. Like that is straight up just some TOS era movie shit.
Yeah, that's Search for Spock. But for a season premiere, I thought it was okay. Yeah.
And they did
I
the
think
action.
I think the guy who plays Spock rules.
Yeah.
Yes. My
He's
hot take
awesome.
is that he's better. Ethan Peck is a better Spock than Zachary Quinto. And I don't
Yes.
hate Zachary
Oh.
Quinto either.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But we'll
That's-
get there.
that's
We'll
an
need
interesting
to
point.
examine it. Yeah, as
That's
we
right.
get to the
Now,
next
have
Trek
we
movie.
ever talked about that he is legendary screen actor, Atticus Finch actor Gregory Peck's grandson?
No, I,
don't
didn't
think
know
we
that. That's that
explicitly
makes a lot
said
of
that. I
sense.
assumed he was
That's-
related. Yeah.
That's weird, right?
Well,
They're
it's
tall. He's
logical.
like 6'1", so
Yeah.
6'2".
And
But
they
he
do some
totally
mitigating.
nails the. I mean, he totally gets Nimoy's Spock from the movie.
He does. He
Yeah.
does. He absolutely
Even more
does.
than Zachary Quinto. And I don't hate Zachary Quinto as Spock at all. We'll get there, like you said. But I just love this cast. Love Anson Mount, of course.
Oh,
Love
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Mabenga is great. Like, I love that
Dude.
guy.
You learn that he's
That's
a little more
great.
badass than we expected too.
Yes.
He's been through
Yeah.
some shit in that first episode.
but
yeah.
also our beloved Chapel is just still right there making me happy
That's
too.
right.
Oh yeah, I forgot that they took steroids and beat up Klingons in that episode for a second.
Yeah, they have this they have a super serum, I guess, in
Yeah,
Star Trek, but
it's
they've never
super
used it
funny.
before.
And Mbenga was
Oh,
a
let's
veteran.
take this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Destroy them. I do want to mention with the courtroom drama again. I think Measure of a Man is a better episode, but I think this is a good episode to have. It's an important episode to have right now because it's again like she's being persecuted for something she can't control. She's seen as less than a citizen, and people are trying to take her autonomy and rights at a time where that's
Yeah.
happening. So I think
Yeah.
having this kind of thing about visibility and people are marginalized, obviously, we're always socially commentating. That's what Star Trek does. So I think it's good timing to have this conversation. But overall, Measure of a Man, I think, is a stronger episode. But I did like episode 2, and the lawyer actress did a great job. Una's
Yeah.
childhood friend. I
Yeah.
think she does
It's-
crush it.
But here's the thing, Jacob.
I want a spin-off that's just that. Law and Star Wars.
Yes.
It's
Star
just
Wars
yes.
Law, Star Trek Law.
But-
Yeah.
Star Law.
Jacob, aren't there like 3 The Orville episodes where there's a trial where the twist is by the end the lawyer's like, and I'm this thing too. And everybody's
Yeah.
like, yes.
Well, the Orville has a
Right.
great plot line dealing with trans issues that I think
Oh,
does it in a
Mhm.
way that Star Trek never really did. So I think as much so like Strange New Worlds, Orville is still beating it for me right now in terms of new Treks because
that's
No
insane.
way.
There's
That's
some really
I
good-
need to watch it.
insane.
I've seen
Still
all
haven't
of the
seen it, so I
Orville.
have no opinion.
There's some
It's,
really
and
strong
guess what?
episodes.
You've seen all of it, period. It's not coming back.
Hey,
Oh no.
don't you dare say that, okay? No, you're most likely right, but it did get a great season finale that can also be a series finale. So
Oh,
shout out to Orville, Seth
Fair enough.
MacFarlane.
maybe I'll just watch that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who
Maybe.
knows? But I see another thing on this list. It's kind of monstrous, Colin. What are you watching Skull Island? Tell me about this. You know I'm a Godzilla boy.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
So Mike, even worse to have to break this news to you. I did want to put this on here as a warning. Set out the
Oh.
skull alert. So this is a new, I guess, anime. We've argued about this in the past. A new animated series that's on Netflix. It's
Netflix.
called Skull Island. Takes place in the universe of Kong Skull Island. It's all that garbage, the MonsterVerse.
Yep.
Now, Mike, this is our beloved animation studio that does Castlevania. What is that? Powerhouse?
Yeah, Powerhouse, I believe. Yeah. We double check, but yes. Go on.
It fucking sucks, dude. It fucking sucks.
Yeah,
It
Powerhouse.
very quickly. It dropped this weekend. I sat down for the first 2 and was like, "This is gonna be great." It sucks. It just became a background thing. Let me tell you what else I was shocked by. Barely ever see fucking King Kong in it.
Oh, geez. Reminds me of
Seems
the
a lot
Godzilla
more
TV
like
show.
it
99
seems more
Godzilla
like a
TV show.
Jurassic Park or maybe a Godzilla
Camp
TV show.
Cretaceous.
It's very weird.
Shit.
I'm trying to think of is this the same company that also did this Pacific Rim animated spinoff?
That could
I'm
be
not
true.
sure. It might be a different one, but I remember checking that out, not really loving it either. So
Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
And being like, how does Netflix have the rights to these properties as original series? That's what I don't get, Jacob.
Yeah.
Different
What do you mean
studio,
you
but
have Pacific Rim? What does that mean?
again, it
Make
might
a movie then.
Pacific Rim does feel like it could work better as an anime Evangelion audience. I don't know, Mecha
Yeah.
audience is a lot bigger with animated, but
Gundam. Yeah.
yeah, not the same company, but the same company Powerhouse did do He-Man, which we liked.
Oh,
okay.
sure.
But
Excellent.
yeah,
Kevin
I guess
Smith's
to get
He-Man.
us, unless Jacob has a final TV after this, just one more bummer of a thing. I was on Max, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I found out about Gremlins: Secrets of the Mogwai existing again.
That's right.
Oh.
The children's show that tells the origin
just
of
came out, right?
Gizmo. Yeah.
Did
bad.
you watch it?
The budget is. I watched one episode. It looks like
Yeah.
it has a terrible budget. It's. I can't
Sure.
recommend it. Maybe it gets better, but after one episode, I'm out. It's for kids, obviously. Maybe kids like it, but not for me.
But Mike, I tried the pilot as well, and I gotta say, you say it's for kids. Well, then what's up with the setting and the story? And to me, it just seemed impenetrable just from a concept of you've got a Smurfs-like village of the Gremlins. Now they are stolen, and they just have to be like in like a terrible time, and you're like, oh no, I don't want to see this.
Yeah, no, and the we need to get out of. We're gonna ruin all of Shanghai. We need to go. I don't know. It's like maybe a little too serious.
Right.
Yeah, and no Howie
Yeah.
Mandel. So get
Right
that
around
out
the
of
mountains of China.
here. Yep.
Well, speaking of animation and kids animation,
Mhm.
one other thing about Star Trek and about Paramount as a studio,
Good.
they're not
good.
doing so good. And in fact, these shows, Star Trek Prodigy, which is the animated, more kid influenced or
Janeway.
based show with Janeway kind of guest starring. That was
Star Trek:
canceled.
Secrets of the Mogwai.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was canceled. Paramount Plus is like dropping all these shows. Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, which was a show on Paramount Plus, just got completely removed. So you can't even watch like the current episodes that had come out. And I'm just reading this news about Paramount. They make like go out of business within a year. So that's going to affect our Star Trek
What are
shows
you
that we
saying?
love. Yeah.
What are you saying?
Whoa.
There may not be a Paramount Plus. Like,
Who
in a
is
year,
saying
so.
that? We all saw Rise of the Beast. The Beast
Right.
rose.
Yeah, it's
Everything's
not doing
fine.
very well, unfortunately.
How dare you say that to my face?
They need
There
Tom
was at
Cruise
least
to
20
save
people
them.
in my theater.
Yeah.
At least.
I mean, it's sort of on par with Flash right now in terms of box office. So that's alone is not
Excuse
very
me,
good.
it won the opening weekend of Flash. Flash came in
It did.
third that weekend.
Let me
And
tell
it
you,
dropped
this
New
weekend,
movie.
Colin, do you know what the number one
Bloodbath.
movie at the box office was this weekend?
Please don't be
Elemental?
Elemental.
It was
Yeah.
Spider-Man Across
Oh,
the
thank God.
Spider-Verse. So
Thank God.
Spider-Man,
A film
an
I've
older
seen
movie,
twice now.
is beating Transformers. It's beating The Flash. It's beating No Hard Feelings, which just came out this weekend.
Yeah,
It's beating
I don't
Elemental.
care. I don't care.
Well,
I'd
not
eat
everything-
them alive.
It's
Yeah.
got legs. Yeah.
It's got 8 of them, bro.
Dog.
Times infinity because there's so many
Exactly.
spider people in it.
Oh my
Plus,
God, no.
A perfect tie-in though. 2018 is when the first one came out. Didn't do well. Like didn't do gangbusters, but became a cult
Right.
hit on streaming and won an Oscar. And then all this buzz for the sequel, and now the sequel's doing great. So good
Yeah.
for them, but not a financial success initially.
Well, let me ask my two smart buddies here. What is the end game of taking this stuff off the platforms?
I don't know. I think it's like an accounting thing where they can write it off as a tax thing if they don't have the episodes available anymore. But it bums me out because it's like, so if you look at Breaking Bad was not a hit in its first couple seasons. It only became a hit through word of mouth and people saying, hey, this show is really good. And by the end of the show, a lot of people were watching it. But a lot of people had to catch up and weren't watching it live to begin with. Now, shows like that will never get a chance to like reach that level because they're so often they're canceled after 1 or 2 seasons with this streaming model. And execs have basically said like they don't care, they don't want cult hits, they don't want something that'll grow an audience. They want something, they only care about this quarter and, you know, fuck the future. Like that's all we care about. We only care about the short term. And that's why companies are dying, I guess, because they're just so now focused on just having the best results for every quarter. You know, it's just bums me out.
It's terrible. Yeah, I agree, man. And the other thought is, does it consolidate eyeballs on what you think are actually going to be more successful products? But I still think that's a no-win scenario.
Yeah, but the streaming bubble is bursting. So It's like Max with all these changes, like they're adding all this reality garbage content and just mixing it up with the good HBO shows and stuff. So it's just all this slurry of content, just put it into your brains. Content, content, content. That's all we care
Yeah,
about.
and there's more than we can ever watch, which is why you need to, listen to our recommendations, fans and listeners.
Exactly.
Because we'll steer you hopefully in the right direction, or
Love
we'll watch
it.
some stuff that you
Yeah.
definitely shouldn't. We'll let you know that we made a mistake.
I would just urge people again to buy stuff.
Yeah, because becomes an issue of media preservation, right?
Yeah, and a lot of times you can't even get physical media of these shows because they only
Yeah.
appear on streaming. And then if they get taken off their streaming service, they're just literally like lost media.
Oh, you
It's
haven't
like a
seen
lot of
my
people are talking
my
about it now.
Bridgerton Blu-rays, Jacob?
Yeah, right. So all
Yeah.
these people with torrents
No.
running, these pirates are preservationists to a certain extent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? More than the
Essentially, yeah.
companies that own the media are.
Like again, look at the Batgirl movie that was a completed
Oh
shot
my
movie
God.
that is now like essentially lost media because if you have the cut of
that's
the
gonna be
Batwoman,
legendary.
yeah,
Yeah, somebody's got to steal that off a server.
right. But a
Get
lot of
on
things
it.
in Hollywood right now are really grim. Capitalism is just kicking our ass lately. It just feels like so.
Sure
Not
is.
great for people who just like movies and TV as an art form kind of thing,
No. It's a bit of a bummer. And, again, on the preservation point, the film industry is not the only thing that has an issue with media preservation. So do video games. So there's my segue.
That's right.
We're going to go ahead and get over to what we're playing and also maybe just general computer technology update. Yeah. So playing games.
Great
Tech
segue.
Corner. Here we go, right after this.
We're back here on Normies Like Us, talking episode 250, a big Whatcha, where it's
Wow.
the future. It
That's
must
right.
be. We're
Yeah.
talking tech stuff, video games, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. What we're playing, let's stick with the standard model of the 250 episodes prior to this, though. What are we playing? Colin, I see that you have a pretty big list here, and I know we've been talking off pod about your progress here. So kick it off. Where are you at? What have you been playing? What's got you going?
So check it out. E3 doesn't exist.
Mm-mm.
It just sucks. Just
Yeah.
fucking sucks. This thing you wanted to go to as a kid, it's gone.
Yeah.
Fuck you for ever wanting to go to that.
Did you
Okay,
guys ever
great.
get to go?
No, did
No.
you?
I went multiple years, but I'm not trying to brag. We would do Craigslist scam. You find a company in the Midwest that makes
Oh,
like
come
shitty
on.
games. They say $100, we'll put your name on the list. We're like, sick. So we would get in for like $100 every year and just run around. Saw the LA Kings captain there with his kid in the Nintendo booth. Got like
What the
Todd
fuck?
McFarlane to sign a Halo poster that I don't have anymore. Wild things at E3. But
I worked a
sadly gone.
Tostitos web ad outside of, I don't know if it was E3, if it was just some sort of like LAX video game con. But that's about the
Interesting.
closest I ever got, Mike.
dang, yeah, we had we had some methods to get in there. I think some of my friends worked the booths too, and they'd sneak in with a badge. But that was back in the day. So rip E3. It was a really
Rip
cool thing.
E3 was a cool thing. Comic-Con, everybody's fucking pulling out of it this year.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Comic-Con's
say.
maybe gonna fucking suck too.
It's
We're
like
just gonna exist in
cons
our
are
own
over.
bubbles.
I think it's
Yeah.
every company has. Well, it's like video
Mike.
games. Every company has their
Feudalism.
own thing now.
Yeah.
Nintendo has their own thing. So I
Well,
think that's where Comic Con is going as well.
Yeah, Disney has
So
their own
I-
shit.
Yeah.
say all that to say to y'all, did you happen to catch that Nintendo, activation or whatever the fuck they call
Nintendo
it or whatever?
Directs and
Yeah.
Summer
Not so
Game
much the
Fest. I
Nintendo
caught some of
one.
that.
I did. We could talk about video Summer Fest or whatever.
Summer Game Fest, is
Summer
that what
Game
it was?
Fest.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some news out of there that we could talk about as well if you wanted to touch
Well,
on this.
I'm
and
only
things
excited
like
about the Nintendo side of things.
I want the Nintendo start
course,
because I
of
do
course.
see we kicked it to Colin. There was one
Look.
thing in particular that I got stoked about from the Nintendo announcement too. And I
Look.
want you to
Here's what I dropped and shared with you guys. They're doing all this stuff. There's a new Mario game, whatever. If you guys recall, on our Mario episode, I was like, hey, I have a perennial challenge in my life. Every year I play Mario RPG and then stop and turn it off because I forget I'm playing it. And then when I go back to it, I'm like, I can't remember where I was, so I'll restart. And then I never beat it.
Right.
It was announced to get a fucking 4K remake or whatever. It
Mhm.
looks awesome. I couldn't
Wow.
be fucking happier. I'll finally be beating this game.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's one of those cult classics. Like people who played it love it, and finally it's getting some shine. I always wondered when Mallow or something was going to make it into Smash Brothers. Maybe it's
A
not
Mallow
too late.
amiibo, Mike. A Geno
Yeah.
amiibo. What are you
Come
even
on.
saying?
Most of those things rhyme too. It
possibilities.
sounds great. Mama Meebo, why not? You know, I
Mama
think that
Meebo.
would be wonderful. Yeah. I'm excited about that too. You
That's
know,
great.
My
Yeah.
cousin had that.
That's
on
great
Super
news for you,
Nintendo.
Colin.
Hell yeah.
They're making a new Mario game as well, where you can turn into an elephant.
Well,
I believe.
you seem to. The premise just seems to be, what if Mario took drugs? That's fascinating.
Yeah.
He's
They
always on mushrooms.
announced, Jacob. They announced there was a video. I don't know if you saw this, where they were like, "Pay attention now," and then it cut to, and it was like, she also gets a game, and this was after the Mario RPG, a new Mario game, and they announced they were remastering a Luigi's Mansion video game from the 3DS. Where they go,
Nice.
she's also getting a game, and Peach comes out, and she opens a door, and she shuts it, and they're like, "What's she doing? You'll see." And it's like, oh, what an interesting way to sell a Peach game coming out, to be
Wow.
like,
It
we don't
exists.
know what it is yet either. Yeah.
Sure.
Get on Taylor Joy to
I'm sure it'll be
do the
great.
voice
Yeah.
again.
I'm
Just
not
that.
positive it will, but I'll buy it because I buy all their games like a fool.
Interesting. But yeah, we're getting a Peach game, and I think
Of course,
it's
on
cool
the
that they
Nintendo
have
side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say we also have the Zelda. Illumination is going to be making a Zelda game. Apparently, was announced. So
No, impossible.
Name?
Impossible. Can't
or
be true.
movie
Illumination's doing a Zelda movie. Okay,
based
well,
on
here
the
we go.
success of Super Mario Brothers movie.
No.
They're going to make a Zelda movie, Illumination style. And like we talked about that, like we don't want Illumination to do it. So
It's gonna be about farts and butts and stuff.
We're gonna have Koroks
Yeah.
looking like minions and shit.
and again,
Yeah.
how do you have a silent protagonist like Link in a movie? Like I'm just really
Just
interested
get
to see
Chris
how they
Pratt
pull
to
that
do
off.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
He'll
have
play
him be
Pop
every voice of every
Tunes.
Nintendo character, and then get Seth Rogen as Ganondorf. It's fine.
I'm gonna
We didn't speak that into existence. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But with the success of
speaking
Breath
of
of the
Zelda.
Wild, well, yeah, they're
Yeah.
announcing all the Mario stuff. It's like, all right, we're going with all the hits. So good. Nintendo's
Yes.
growth happening.
yeah.
And
And
they
speaking of
seem
Zelda-
to have been reminded that people like Mario with this movie. It is exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, Jacob.
Yeah.
Well, I'm even surprised by how successful it is right now because
For how mid it is as a movie.
for how mid it is, and there's like obviously Spider-Verse is a better animated movie, so like I don't know,
Mhm.
but people
Say
really
that to
like
Mario's
Spider-Man.
face. You say that to his little Italian face.
I will.
Yeah.
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia.
But speaking of Zelda, Colin, have you been still playing Tears of the Kingdom? Can we get an update on that?
Thank you. Here's the thing. Have not touched it since the last time I talked to us on here. It's been maybe 2 hours total of gameplay. That's terrible. Here's what's been occupying it instead. I had purchased 2 games before I bought Zelda. Persona 5 Royale, not happening. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to try. It's not going to happen. And then Fire Emblem Engage. Which is a tactics game. Mike, Persona's a role-playing game. I mean, you were about to say they both take hours and hours and hours, right?
Yes.
They do. But one has, like the tactics kind of side. The combat of Fire Emblem, I think, is they're 2 different beasts. But yeah, it's what do you want to spend 200 hours on? And you
Right.
chose the Fire Emblem.
I chose Fire Emblem just to get it done. I love that franchise, and I just felt like I owed it. It's not my favorite one, and I ended up putting 85 in it and literally finishing it last night. So I am happy to walk away with what could be probably 12 more hours of DLC that we'll be lucky if I ever see the light of day on.
Got it. 85 is
And
pretty
well-
reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to you're talking about Fire Emblem and Persona, why not play both of them together in one game called Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which is what I borrowed from you about a month back, and I've been playing a little bit of. And that's an older, that's the game, the mainline game before Engage, I believe. And like I said, that has elements of Persona where you have the daily life sim where you're going around this academy or school and talking to different people, going on tea parties, dates with them, and all kinds of fun things
social
like that. Right?
engagements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Colin, you're not a
Persona.
huge 3 Houses fan?
I like it. I said to you, it's still not what I would call peak Fire Emblem. I think that's much more on the right path. A lot of the fans were outraged by the social simulator. The fact that, like, I would say 80% of that game is you just being like, whose books do I want to carry to class this morning?
Right.
Damn.
You're trying to
Which is
build
wild.
relationships, which will help you in combat because the stronger your relationship with his characters, you can do different things. And
It's
That's
Harry
exactly
Potter,
how it
the
works in
Fire
Persona.
Emblem.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
so much of what I understand a sizable portion of the fan base is very into shipping these characters. So it's like, we put a
Yes.
whole ship mechanic. Why are you upset? I thought you
Right.
wanted this.
You can
Yes.
romance like every character in the game.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
want you to fuck these cartoons. This is
Right.
what you want. Admit it.
I see your
It's
forum
like, well,
posts.
Mike, do you have like any history with these? Do you play these at all?
Fire Emblem, the most I got into it was there was one on Game Boy Advance that I was very into.
Sure.
And, I like the rock, paper, scissors of that game where, like, spear better than sword, axe better than spear, sword better than axe. It's just kind of this. Yeah.
That's why I like Three Houses,
paper,
where I feel
scissors.
like they went away from that whole rock, paper,
Yeah.
scissors. Made the
Right.
combat a little more complex, where it's not just like, oh, my sword beats your spear. Which I don't mind that
simplify
either.
the tactical element of who you're deploying, because it's like, and then range is
Yeah.
a slightly different thing. But
But I'm a
yeah.
huge fan of
Engage
those
doubles down on
tactical type of games. I'm a huge fan of, like, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I played.
I
Back
wanted
in the day.
to know. I wanted
Yeah.
to know. I know that your history with that game, but I was curious if really any others stood out for you for this style that
Advance
you
Wars.
do enjoy. Yes. Okay.
Very fun series for the Game Boy and stuff.
I know a sleeper. Konami,
Yeah.
PlayStation 1, Vandal Hearts 1.
Right.
One of the absolute
Great game.
best tactical RPGs. If Final Fantasy Tactics didn't exist, that would be my favorite one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm also a huge fan of
10 hours.
XCOM 2, which
Yeah,
is,
I was gonna say
Yeah.
now those and Mike with your Valkyrie Chronicles. Do you guys
Correct.
consider those dead-on tactics games? I guess so, right?
they're not so much like XCOM isn't really an RPG, I would say, but it is a tactics game.
Yeah.
You are leveling up the different characters and giving them new abilities and stuff. But there's no kind of relationship sim element of it, though.
I just consider it the next evolution of at least grid-based tactics, because you have
Sure.
specialized units that have advantages over other units, and instead of clicking them and moving them on the grid and waiting for that to happen, you're just walking third
Yeah.
person. So it's like pretty much they're the same thing, if you pull the camera back and locked it down, you just
That does yeah, that's true. And that
Yeah.
makes me think of a question that I'm wondering, Colin, if
Mhm.
you had any interest. But so the company that makes XCOM recently, I think maybe a year back, made a game called Marvel Midnight Suns, I think, or X-Men Midnight Suns,
Yeah.
which is a
Mhm.
tactics game featuring
Mhm.
X-Men characters. So it's basically XCOM type combat with X-Men. Do you have any interest in ever playing that? Or-
It goes back to GameStop had a sale literally this week where it was like a buy one get one, where I was like literally weighing like, do I want to like get this for like PS5 like as the add-on game, Jacob? And it goes back to our generation having those Kenner Batman toys that were like Batman wears a ski suit, Batman wears it, where he was just literally painted different colors. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I get so bugged when you mess with the base original, and the fact that that game is like Wolverine gets possessed by the Ghost Rider, and Ghost Rider's also possessed by the Ghost Rider, and Hulk's possessed by the Ghost Rider. Like all that stuff just like bums me out so much to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to touch it. So I'm just
Interesting.
turned off by the aesthetic.
How are we going to have
Mixed
600
reviews on
skins
that.
to buy,
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that is more of a, it has mixed reviews. I don't know
Yes.
too much about it, but it does have that XCOM turn-based combat with more of a relationship angle where you can like romance different characters like
Yes.
Jean Grey or whoever. I don't know.
Yes.
And
That's
a lot of
so
people
wild.
don't like it.
Scotty
They said the
doesn't know.
story is not very good, and the cutscenes are not great or something. So, but again, I don't have a lot of experience, so maybe I'll
The
play
high
it one
point of
day.
X-Men video
Yeah.
games is X-Men Legends 2, and I will not hear any arguments against.
Hell yeah, dude. You only
That's the
speak the
best.
truth, Mike. That
Thank
is
you.
it right
I
there.
cannot lie.
But that is truly it for me, guys. I'm on the hunt for a new video game right now, but I'm also going like pause. I maybe don't need something. I want to just like focus on getting some other stuff done, put my, entertainment itch to the side for a second, and then come back to it and get excited. There's also the possibility that I might be playing some Fortnite with you guys in the future. I don't know if that segues to anything.
Love that.
Great
You dropped us
segue.
right into it. It's a hot drop. Perfect.
Oh no, it's a classic.
Yeah, for me, what I've been playing, I haven't had as much free time lately due to just some stuff in my personal life that's taking up a lot of time. So I've had less free time to play or consume media recently. So what I've been what you've been playing is mostly just Fortnite, Fortnite with the gang.
Mhm.
Got the, former Normie host Joe. I play with him and his family a lot, and we just have
The East
little
Coast
hang sessions on the old Discord. Yeah, the East Coast gang.
Uh-huh.
And lately I've been playing with Mike. I've been playing with friend of the show Adam.
West Coast
Uh,
Daddies.
West
Cargo
Coast
Bay, the
West Coast
West
Papas.
Coast
Yep.
Daddies.
West Coast
West Coast
Papas.
Daddies. Who's got a key for Daddy Jacob? Yeah.
It's got a key.
So Colin, if this is huge news. If you
It might be
finally
time.
boot up that Fortnite on the old PS5,
It might finally be time.
You could get an Optimus Primal skin just like me,
Some casual drops as the monkey trying to get my main man. This might be the one time where that sounds just like so satisfying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
something novel about it. It has grown on me, but mostly it's the the real Fortnite is the friends you made along the way and being able to play with the buddies and just kind of goof around and drop dogs. It has been fun. So again, we've gotten a couple wins. We've had at least one win, at least you and me, Jacob, between the last time we recorded an episode. So.
And I'm always kind of looking for like a fun multiplayer game that I can play with my friends. And of course, you and me, Mike, we've put a lot of hours into Halo Infinite with friends, so that's a good game to play with friends. Alien,
Fireteam Elite, Adam for a while. Yeah,
that's a very fun co-op game. But I feel like Fortnite is a game that it's super easy. You can download it on any system. Essentially, you can download it on your phone, on a Switch, whatever you want. And it's super accessible for normies, anyone who wants to get into it just for a casual multiplayer shooter that you can just hang out with your friends, and it's a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't been playing a ton of new games either. I was debating, do I do Fallen Order? Because we have a 4th of July break coming up. It's like, I could just do the next, Jedi Survivor game. I mean, I could do Jedi Survivor. I'm going to have a week, but mostly just Armored Core from Summer's Game Fest. We got a lot of footage about that. Very stoked.
Looking good, dude.
Yeah.
Should we go around and say, like, what are we anticipating for, like, new releases coming out? Because I know you were all about Armored Core 6.
Yep.
Mike,
I got
a
that as well. Yeah.
Digital Game Informer just sent to me from GameStop. Like, if you're a pro member, you get those.
Yeah.
And the email was like, "It's time, Armored Core," and it's just
Thank God.
diving into the intro. It's like, this looks incredible. I'm so happy it's back. You just got to be elated, dude.
I'm just so glad that I'm seeing so much YouTube content. Even like the largest Dark Soul creator, Vadi videos, like I played every Armored Core, and it's like an 1.5 hour long video of him explaining the nuance. So if you don't even want to play them, you can watch somebody go through, and this is kind of how an Armored Core game is traditionally structured and works, and the combat and the customization. So there's a ton of people doing primers who never even touched one that are so excited for this that they're just going back and trying the whole series, and it's wild time.
The thing I remember the most from renting it as a kid and playing it with my brother when I did not understand video games was how hard it was to lock on with missile packs and stuff, because it is a game that makes you feel like you truly are operating the giant robot you're inside. I'm very excited to get that tactical, kind of overcomplicated feeling again.
Yes, and there's it's a meme, but there was a legendary grip that if you flip the controller upside down, you could have access to more buttons, and that's how people pros played. That was all fake, but it was an Armored Core grip urban
That's
legend.
amazing.
I
want to see
I will
that.
be playing it on my flight stick for Star Wars Squadrons.
Oh my God.
The entire game with the
you'll
stick
be
and throttle.
pulling down a helmet that just only shows you the internal view of the robot.
But I do plan to stream that whole saga, I guess, if I get it up and running, just as something that might be interesting for people to see. So when that game comes out, keep an eye out. But yeah, that's what I'm here for.
I'll
be there.
I'm interested in it as well. I've seen some gameplay and stuff, and I'm like, that looks pretty cool. I could get into that. Never played an Armored Core game before.
I think you're gonna love customizing your robot.
Yes, that's what really, like, the customizing the mechs. That's what really gets me there. I love that. The more detail, the better. And I like mechs. I've played a game called BattleTech. Which, going back to the turn-based combat type tactics game, it's that kind of game, but with mechs, and that's based in the Mech Warrior franchise, I think, which started as a tabletop game.
Yeah.
So BattleTech, super fun game about tactics-based mechs, like I'm saying. So definitely into Armored Core 6. We'll definitely be checking that out.
Well, they say real quick to get out of here, but the noobs, when you first play Armored Core, you think You build your robot to do missions. But no, you do missions to have more money to spend more time building robot. You want to spend more
Right.
time in the menu building robot than you do
And can you
playing the
have
game.
different
That's
like
how you know.
models? Can you have different models
Quickly,
in your garage and stuff too, or do
You
you
can
just have
have
one
presets that you
oh,
switch
okay.
between now,
Yeah,
which
I
is
see
new.
Okay,
that.
yeah.
But quickly your mind will go from like, okay, this is efficient to like the next one being like, this one does not need legs, only 1,000 boosters, and he will
Uh-huh.
fly through the sky and
Right.
shoot missiles and rockets. And you're like, this
Exactly.
is so wild.
See, the customization sounds a lot like this BattleTech, where you're trading off like weight with like, so you can only have a certain weight or something, or you can have like heat signature. So like some things will some weapons will use more heat, so you got to balance
Mhm.
that and kind of thing. So
Ah.
Or you'll
That sounds like-
overheat, your radiator needs to be doing stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
pretty granular. Radar dishes, all that stuff.
Would you
factors in.
guys
I'm super
do
into
that
that.
Mech Warrior game at Dave and Buster's? Did you guys, Dave and Buster's, have one of those pods you would go in?
probably, yeah.
I didn't try the one at Dave & Buster's, but when I was in Japan, there's a room in this arcade that had 5 of those for a different game, but a mech game,
Mm.
and it's a team of 5. They have cards that they swipe. There's a set time,
Dog.
and then they're playing somewhere else in the city, another team of 5 humans in these cockpits, and it's like,
Dog.
this is the best
That's
bowling
awesome.
league ever.
I mean,
Are you kidding
no,
me?
that's
Yeah.
Gundam. I mean, Mike,
Yeah,
that
they're
is
just
that
doing
should be
Gundam.
what wars are. It should
It
just
will
be
be,
those
yeah.
people. Yeah.
Proxy,
Well, my
right?
suggestion
So,
to you, Mike,
yeah.
people. So there's people that like play Truck Simulator, and they have a whole rig
yeah.
that looks like the inside of a cab of a truck or something. You should play this game and just have a whole rig that looks like the inside of a mech.
Yeah,
and
If I
Mech
just have-
could, I
Simulator.
would.
That would
I'll
be
just
so
3D
sick.
print a bunch of stuff and it'll make it look like I'm inside a robot.
You fucking
I'll just
imagine.
do that.
Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah, I'm one
That's
of the
the
few
dream.
people that played the old ones before Dark Souls came out and changed
Right.
everything.
Well, I'm
So
excited for
that's my
that.
deal.
Yeah. In terms of other
Mhm.
anticipated releases,
Oh yeah.
I think number one for me is Starfield, the new Bethesda game that will be coming out in August. Very
Sci-fi's
excited for
leading the
that.
charge.
So
Yeah.
pitch me, Jacob. This is the one that's been a zillion years in the making, but it's Elder Scrolls in space.
Essentially,
Man's
yeah. So
Scroll.
of course, Bethesda,
Nice.
known for Elder Scrolls and the more recent Fallout games from Fallout 3 on, which is kind of Elder Scrolls in the post-apocalyptic future, right? So Starfield is a space. They're calling it NASA punk, which I don't love, like the
Okay.
aesthetic of it all, where it's like spacesuits and different things. So it's not. It's less of a. I mean, there's like space western elements as well too, with like raiders and outlaws and stuff. But they're just
Yeah.
calling it NASA punk to kind of define the aesthetic of it. But it's going to be essentially No Man's Sky meets Elder Scrolls. So
Right.
if you like the idea of No Man's Sky, but never played it or got turned off by the aesthetic or whatever,
But can I ask,
yeah.
why wouldn't you call it 2001: A Punk's Odyssey?
I like
they should
that.
have, yeah. But they have been making this for a very long time. They basically started after they finished Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. They've been working on this. They said, we're going to finish this before we start on the new Elder Scrolls 6, which they announced several years ago with a brief teaser that just had the name.
Just the
Right?
logo. Yeah.
And there's been no progress on that yet. So they said, even recently, Elder Scrolls 6 is about 5 to 6 years away from now.
Jesus.
So
So
we will be getting more Skyrim.
We just want you to know the
Yeah.
idea is there. We love the idea.
yeah. And if I can
Yeah.
remind you, Skyrim came out in 2011, 12 years ago. So we may have like 20 years between Elder Scrolls games by the time this comes out.
That sounds about when was the last Armored Core released? Just out of parallel.
Very
Don't look it
similar,
up.
yeah. Yeah. But
Meanwhile,
Starfield is the first new IP that Bethesda has done in like 20 years. So that's kind of cool, I guess. And I'm just very excited for it. I love No Man's Sky. I love the idea of exploring space
Mhm.
and to make a Bethesda game where you have, this whole side quest and everything. The scope and ambition of this game is like pretty wild because there's like 1,000 planets you can visit. Most of them
Whoa.
procedurally generated, but they do have, a lot of them have settlements and stuff that you can visit, different kinds of wildlife. And the tech specs to make this game is pretty impressive. Like they already said on console, they're locking at 30 frames per second so they can have better performance elsewhere. So they're kind of sacrificing 60 frames per second to have the least amount of bugs and the best performance of a Bethesda game ever is what they're promising. So we'll see how that goes. But
It just works. Yeah. Historically,
Yeah.
never overestimated their
no, but this one they're like
stability.
making a point to say like we know our previous games
Yeah.
have been buggy on launch and stuff like that. Starfield will have like the least amount of bugs, the least amount of technical
Big
problems ever
promise.
for
Maybe
a
that's why they
Bethesda
took
release.
forever, though. I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
True.
It does look interesting. I watched the 40-minute showcase. You know, you can take off from a planet without a loading screen, get into your ship, fly out into space, like all see.
No
Yeah,
fucking
apparently.
way.
That's what they said.
I think
And they
so. Yeah, I mean,
demonstrated
No
it.
Man's Sky has done that already, but yeah, it's going to be cool.
Jedi
Yeah,
doesn't. Yeah. So
right.
yeah, I'm intrigued. I need to see more because I have trust issues with Bethesda. That's all. But
Yeah.
on paper, it looks very, very good. And I'll be doing another sci-fi robot thing probably during that time anyway.
Right. But it's totally the game that you could get if you're someone like me, you could get lost in it for hundreds of hours because of course there's
Yeah.
a settlement building kind of aspect of it like
Mhm.
Fallout 4, but more refined where you can also customize your spaceship and do all kinds of different things. So it's going to be a game that I'm just going to waste hundreds of hours in
It's
probably.
nice knowing you.
I probably
Yeah.
spent 50 hours building gummy ships in Kingdom Hearts. So like I have the
Hey.
capacity to like also get pulled into this type of game. And I think 30 FPS for a single player RPG is fine, especially how their combat is.
Yeah.
If you can beat Bloodborne at 30 FPS, this is fine at 30 FPS. Okay, everybody? Like,
Yeah,
chill.
and that's just on console. PC, they're not locking the FPS. So
right,
it's just
right.
through the technical limitations of the console. They want the best performance they can get.
Mhm.
But I love space exploration games, and I've been wanting a game like this. You know, No Man's Sky had its problems on launch, but they fixed a lot of problems. I was a big fan of that game as well. There's also, you know, Star Citizen, which has been was
Yeah,
a
for a while.
GoFundMe type of game, a crowd-funded game that's
Mhm.
been in development for a long time, and probably promised too much for what they can actually achieve. But the idea of just being in space and going any direction you want to any planet, even something like Mass Effect, which was much more on rails kind of thing. Like I just love exploring space, going to different planets, and yeah, it's gonna be
Strange new
great.
worlds, new civilizations, right? We love that.
That's
We
right.
like that here. So very cool. Yeah, I don't have a ton of other video game stuff, but I do want to have a quick update. You know, we did, you know, the company I work for, we did a VidCon booth this past week. So it's a big YouTube convention, you know, a lot of YouTube and stuff. But one of the guests that we had was a company called Kyber. So Kyber AI, they did the Linkin Park AI music video.
Oh, cool.
And so listeners of this, maybe I've mentioned it, maybe I haven't, but I've lately been very into the AI art revolution or whatever's going on with it. So I'm learning the back end, stable diffusion, all that technology. So it was neat to kind of talk with them and understand, nothing to share here because who knows what's NDA'd, but they were very cool to kind of talk about the whole AI art thing. So I've been upgrading my computers and doing a lot of that. Some of that will be public soon. Like I'm trying to make some output. So that's a little
Nice.
bit on the technical side. I don't know. I'm just into that. I'm doing more video conversion, but otherwise, just waiting for Armored Core. And tiny note: I've just updated all of my controller. This is dumb, but I took apart a whole bunch of controllers. I took a PS4 controller, which is my preferred medium. Replaced the sticks. Replaced the face buttons with buttons from an actual just PS1 original PS1 controller.
What?
Wow.
And a different D-pad. So this is it's just a dumb thing. I like to customize stuff, but anyway,
Custom
this is
controller.
kind of my go-to. That's why I'm so good at Fortnite and Halo.
Goddamn, Mike.
Absolutely.
That's a
But
killer.
anyway, I just like to have my gear in a certain way. The same thing with the flight stick for Armored Core. So I have everything's always custom. I like to tinker. Same reason I like building spaceships in Star Citizen and Armored Core.
God,
It's
but
all
a 4. I really think the 5 is really one of the best controllers I've ever felt in my life. No
it
love
doesn't
there.
have easy back buttons yet. That's the only thing. You can't snap a back button in. I need more buttons. The 5 is great. The 5
Wow.
is a Rocket League controller because of the adaptive trigger. You have to use.
Sure.
I love the 5. You know, I used to play on the 4 for a long time. I always play my PC games when I use a controller. I use PlayStation controllers. I used to use a PS4. Big fan of those controllers. Then I upgraded to a PS5. Huge fan of the PS5 controllers as well. So I think they've
No, absolutely.
really
I
nailed
just happen to prefer
yeah.
the 4, and it's cheaper to get parts to do custom shit with it
Totally,
than doing it with
totally.
the 5. And I don't want to risk
Putting
breaking
the 1
5. It's too
toggles in
fancy.
there, though.
Yeah,
Sure.
that took a little bit of. It was a little painful to take apart and gut a classic functioning PS1 controller, but you got to do what you got to do for art. So anyway,
Right.
we're ready to
Goddamn.
game. We just
That's
don't know what we're
super
going to do in
cool.
the next 2 months.
That's awesome. I can just mention, you know, Fortnite update, Fortnite corner time.
Oh yes, please.
of course, chapter 4, season 3 came out recently. So I've been working on that battle pass. The final reward of that battle pass is Optimus Prime. So I've been working towards that, working towards my boy. Can't wait. And we've just been playing together recently, and we got to get Colin in there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. I've been leaguing some rockets too, and then they have Optimus Prime as a goal explosion where he just kind of comes out of the goal, and it's like I really need to unlock that too.
That's amazing.
Sam Witwicky.
I've been in Rocket League with you recently, and you have the Fast and the Furious car that they go into space with.
The Fiero with the rocket on it. That's my car. Yeah.
Which Ludacris and Tyrese.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It's the only car I use now. I refuse to drive anything but the Fast and the Furious car, and I hope they let me have the Optimus explosion behind it.
Tyrese would be very happy to hear you crossing his franchises over like this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the same company too, so, we'll get it one day.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much it for the updates, right? We're season 4, which is the wilds. You can ride a raptor, you can get all muddy, you can do some invisibility now. There's some updates and this and that.
They've changed the map where there was a big earthquake or something, and the center of the map was revealed to have these secret tombs underneath. So there's this whole jungle region with tombs and secrets that you can see, and you got the Optimus Prime Transformer symbol in the tomb, so you know that it's tying into Rise of the Beasts, where they go to Peru and all that.
Are you
stuff.
trying to say the beasts are rising now?
The beasts are, I believe, rising. Of course, Mike, you have the optimal, maximal, whatever the fuck. I always call them optimal, maximal.
Optimal, maximal. Optimal, maximal.
That's his name now.
Maximize.
I'll always say shit like when we drive in a car, like, I'm not used to riding in one of these. I usually become one,
Yeah.
So it's so good, Mike.
I got suckered into getting the Flash skin in the store, the Grant Gustin Flash that they brought back.
He's the best.
Yeah, and I've got Miles Morales. We out here being consumers, buying Fortnite skins.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Economy be stimulated, dude. You're welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
What else do you want from us?
Yeah.
What if these movies are bombing? We go to them. We talk about them on this dumb podcast.
I paid full price
we're
for those.
single-handedly saving the movie industry.
Bullshit.
Like Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's wrap it with this. There was a lot of stuff. We pretty much have the rest of our episodes plotted out for 2 months essentially. Right?
Yeah, at least through the end of August into September.
And normies, if you're just paying attention to pop culture, you know what they're going to be. We're going to hit all your favorite stuff. We're excited about it. There's a million, like we said, there's no big convention exists anymore. But then Netflix will be like, surprise, it's Tudum today. You don't know what that means, but we're going to tell you everything that we're doing for the year. And you're like, huh?
Right. That's the trend. All these companies will be skipping Comic-Con this year, right? But they all do their own. Of course, you got D23, and every company wants their own version of that now.
BlizzCon for video games, it's just they can do their own shit. Yeah.
So. Will we do a Diablo 4 episode, Mike? Will we do a?
That's been.
Where we'll do a. Look, we got the One Piece live action trailer. We'll do a One Piece episode. I'm planning on maybe recording a 2-hour episode by myself, and then you guys come on for the next 2 hours where you're only allowed to ask me questions that I'm allowed to be mad about or something. So I don't know. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Just a lot of good stuff right now.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to within the next couple of months that's coming out? Movie or video game or anything?
The number one, and I think it's the same for you, Jacob, is Mission Impossible. He's not going to let us down. I loved Fallout so much. This has to be the movie that breaks. Can I just say, prediction-wise, and we're going to talk about it, I think Indiana Jones is going to bomb. I think we're going to see the next few blockbusters bomb until Mission Impossible that has a built-in fan base. I even think maybe Barbie and Oppenheimer. So
I think
that's been the
Oppenheimer's
trend.
Gonna bomb so hard. No,
I think so.
Also,
I'm positive it will.
But they're not expecting Marvel numbers for, I think, Oppenheimer.
Aren't they?
A Christopher Nolan biopic about Robert Oppenheimer, the
what did
creator of the nuclear
Dunkirk
bomb.
make? I think it made a ton of money, dude. I think they expect that.
Tenet came out during the whole simultaneous streaming on HBO Go or whatever that a lot of people weren't happy with. So I know Christopher Nolan specifically was like, people need to see this in theaters. Like,
How
you're
dare
killing
you try
my
to
movies.
watch it
Yeah.
at home? I'll kill you.
I don't know if it's a hot take, but Christopher Nolan doesn't draw unless he has the Batman. Like, sorry, Inception's the closest you got, dude. Like, he's good.
Actually, like
the general audience doesn't like it.
Yeah.
You know?
Tenet had mixed reviews. I kind of like Tenet. It's like Christopher Nolan trying to make a James Bond movie. I thought it was pretty decent. A lot of people didn't like it though. And I also like Dunkirk.
I don't like Tenet.
Yeah.
I own the screenplay of Tenet. I don't like Tenet.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Fair enough. But Oppenheimer and Barbie look good.
I'm not expecting it to do huge numbers. I think Barbie will do well.
I don't know.
That's a licensed IP. I mean,
I think it might make more than they're expecting, but it's not going to make Marvel money. You know,
it's not going to make Marvel or Mario money, but it's going to be.
What is the thing you are most excited for, Mike?
I mean, I do really like Mission Impossible, and I'm looking forward to that too. And I'm just scrolling through the movies quickly. Oh yeah, VidCon, I got to go to the Nickelodeon booth, and they had a bunch of Ninja Turtle shit. So I'm excited for Ninja Turtles.
Turtles.
You know, I'm a
Of course
turtle guy.
you are.
And maybe this is a weird one. This will be my last for this little bit here. Craven the Hunter. No. What I do want to see, and I don't know why, it's the Gran Turismo movie because it's Neil Blomkamp.
Oh,
like,
shut up.
I don't know
Blomkamp
why.
sucks,
I know
though.
it's stupid.
Dog,
and it's based
you
on a
are
true story.
wrong.
But the true story was a marketing campaign that Sony created to make that happen. So it's all like this marketing bullshit.
Hot take, I'm not really a Neil Blomkamp fan. He
No.
made one decent movie, District 9.
Chappie,
but after that,
amazing.
Chappie, no. Elysium, no.
No.
Not great movies. So.
But you are Chappie. I am Chappie.
I am Chappie.
I am Chappie.
That's my.
But again, we had a lot of the
partner.
biggest. We've seen a lot of the biggest movies of the year already. Across the Spider-Verse, John Wick 4, Transformers.
Oh,
Flash.
Doom Part 2, right? We get that in November.
Sure.
Part 2 will be
Jacob,
in the fall.
is that your biggest for the rest of the year? Probably.
I'm hoping it's not bad. That's all I'm hoping. I'm hoping it
Okay.
lives up to Part 1.
Can I predict something about that film?
Yes.
Yeah, that's about it.
I don't want this to be true. I'm just saying that. This is just a feeling. I think Christopher Walken, who is in the movie as the Emperor Shadak or whatever his name is, will die when that film is released.
Oh no!
Whoa! What is this? You got a crystal
I just have a
ball?
weird premonition about it. I don't know why. I think Christopher Walken or Harrison Ford are going to die this year. I've been feeling that like crazy lately.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Don't
Shatner
speak
will be
it into
fine.
existence.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shatner
no.
will be fine. Yeah, I'm interested for the the new
Shatner will be
the new
Right.
casting. Of course, we have Florence Pugh as Princess Irulan.
sure.
We have Elvis. What's that guy's name? The guy that played
Austin
Elvis.
Butler.
Austin
Elvis.
Butler is the Sting role from the David Lynch version. If you remember,
The way that my eyes rolled in the back of my head when you said, and next to the cast we have Elvis.
Yeah.
of course, you know him as Elvis.
Look out, man.
Yes.
I'm in the
cool.
movie, man.
He,
Hey, there's
he
sand
did
everywhere,
the role
baby.
So much he forgot how to speak normally. He just started speaking like Elvis, right?
You think you're the chosen one, Paul Atreides?
Yeah,
I'll finish this
but
sandwich and show you what.
I guess keeping the theme of sort of casting a musician, not a musician, but someone who played a musician in that role.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
I
Sure,
guess
sure.
there's a loose
I'll
connection
take that loose
there.
connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But Denis Villeneuve, of course, you've never let me down.
Denis
So-
Villeneuve's Gran Turismo in some universe is also coming out
Yeah.
in the multiverse. Yeah, no, I'm excited for Dune as well. Again, I think the first one I enjoyed it a lot. It's not a complete movie, so the ending's a bummer, but I
Here's-
want to live there.
you could say
I watched
the
6
same
hours
about
of it.
Spider-Verse, right?
Here's
Across the
what I
Spider-Verse.
want to say about
Or Fast and Furious.
Gran Turismo. I can't get over Gran Torino, whatever it's called. Gran Turismo.
I got to buy a racing wheel. I'm going to change the whole thing. Fuck robots. I'm a car guy.
I think David Harbour says to his agent, I will take any role that gets me this amount of money, and craft services has this amount of sandwiches.
Yeah. Stanley Cup
Right.
commercials, right?
I like that
he was
he
in a
did
bunch
that.
of Stanley Cup.
That made me like him more.
Hockey, I guess.
I love him
Yeah.
to death. Every choice. When I think about him as Hellboy, it truly is something that almost gives me a seizure.
Oh,
Sure.
God. But this one, it's like, wait, I can make a similar amount to Hellboy without makeup? Shorter
That's probably
schedule?
How many
Aaron
sandwiches
Paul in
can
that
I
movie,
eat every
right? They're
day?
Probably like
100?
Yeah, hang out with Orlando Bloom and 100 sandwiches. You got it.
Okay, yeah,
That's right.
That's my amount.
Yeah. You think your gamer kids are going to come in and be a professional racer? I'm cranking David Harbour. Yeah, can't wait.
Of course, we were talking the other day about they should make a Rocket League movie that's exactly like that, where it's about a Rocket League player that becomes a racer.
It's a real sport, right? In the real
You
world.
want to strap a rocket
Car
to
soccer.
a car and have him drive it into
Get
a
Ludacris
ball?
and Tyrese running that thing.
Are you
Oh.
They already did
crazy?
Fast and the Furious, yeah.
That's how
I'm
it
a
got started.
gamer in my heart.
Mm-hmm. I know I can do it, Dad. Racing's not a world for us. You know how much money it costs to make a Rocket League car?
Do you know how expensive it is to fly around from side to side, bashing into a ball larger than a building?
So, T-Rex
right,
Goal
but-
Explosion doesn't come cheap, son.
But
Yeah.
we joke,
Doing
but of
flips
course we
through
would
the
all
air.
go see a Rocket League movie.
I
in
100%
theaters.
would go see
Once
a Rocket League
again,
live
the
event.
Five Nights at Freddy's movie was the last trailer I saw where an audience cheered. Video game movies are the solution. I say it
Gran
over and
Turismo's
over.
the next billion-dollar franchise. It starts here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see where that goes. One final thing I guess that I forgot to mention being excited about is Cyberpunk 2077 DLC. Phantom Liberty,
yeah.
Right.
whole overhaul. It's a big deal. Check out the details.
Did
That's
we-
September 26th.
Did we see stuff finally? Like we know what it is?
Trailers.
Okay. Dope.
They've
Okay.
announced a bunch of stuff, and it's, like you said, DLC plus a bunch of overhauls to the base game, completely reworking some of the concepts like stats and stuff
Like
like
the way you
that.
level
Thank
up and
God.
stuff is different
Yeah.
now. It's a lot more
Jesus.
optimized.
So the only thing I'm sort of bummed about is that it sounds like you're going to need to create a new save to play the DLC.
I don't buy that. I think
Yeah.
they give you, this is what I would hope, that they give you a
Mhm.
chance. Here's the new system. Here's all your points. Respec however the fuck you want and continue with this save. That's what I would hope. But
I would like that
We'll
too,
see.
because I mean, I
doubt
played.
it.
I want to do
Played
it
the
with
whole
my
game,
character
right?
now.
Yeah, and I want to exactly.
I never
I've done
beat
every
it,
side
so
quest.
I might be in a good spot here.
Well, now there's
I
a
don't
fourth
know.
ending. Yeah, like you beat it,
Right.
and checkpoints you right before the ending point. So you
There's
can
a whole new
pick another ending.
region.
So
Dogtown, right, where you have
Ogtown.
Idris
yeah,
Elba.
it's like more
of course,
lawless
that
than
guy.
Pacifica.
Right.
Well, I'm not a street kid or a corpo. I'm a dog boy.
I'm a dog boy. I'm gonna go drop.
Always
dogs in
have been.
Dogtown.
Always
That's what
will
I'm gonna
be.
do.
Woof
Lords
woof.
of Dogtown.
I'm a
I'm gonna
lord of
down dogs.
Dogtown, Jacob. I skate in those empty
Give me a
pools.
cyber skateboard, dude. Yeah.
That's right.
So we'll see how that. It looks good though.
Yeah.
Wow.
They fixed
We've
a
got
lot.
that. We've got Starfield. We've got Star Wars open
And
world
Armored Core.
game.
I haven't watched that thing either.
Star
Yeah.
Wars Outlaws.
Yeah. But I know
yeah.
people were like, boo. So, Spider-Man
Mixed.
2.
Spider-Man
good.
2.
Very excited.
Yeah. Never played those Spider-Man games, but I would like to at some point.
Never played Miles.
No.
Should buy that.
Yeah.
I like the dynamic in the trailer. They had that extended chase with the lizard, like gameplay thing, and it's a pretty cool dynamic between Black Suit Peter and Miles, where Peter's like getting frustrated and angry, and it's like, oh, okay.
I
Right.
don't love when a
Symbiote
lizard
Peter.
is just an iguana, Mike.
giant
Sometimes
iguana.
they just do that, and it's like the MTV version of Spider-Man did that with Neil Patrick Harris, and I fucking hated it growing up.
I only like the animated series. That's my favorite lizard.
He
What's
has
he
to
wearing
wear
a
the
coat?
lab coat. It's a
Yeah.
big deal to me that he wear the coat.
Yes.
Mike. He
Correct.
needs to wear
I
the
agree.
Of
coat.
course, a lizard would want to wear a
Yes,
lab coat.
it's
He just
important.
doesn't have to grow out of it. Yeah, he's still a
Yes.
doctor. Yeah.
Yes.
Kurt Connors, damn
See
it.
your arm, is it broken?
Yeah.
That's right.
I just want to make everybody a lizard. This is great. Not when it's
Classic.
cold though. I can't move. Anyhow.
No.
Well,
Anyways,
We
a lot of
can
stuff to
move.
look forward to.
Yeah.
absolutely.
A lot more this summer that we'll talk about.
5 more years, 250 more. Do we
Yep.
have it in
Wow.
us?
Hot norm summer.
so.
You know, we're getting into
It
it.
Hot
is-
norm
It is
summer.
hot normie summer.
That's what we're
It
calling
was
it now.
declared.
Hot
Tom
norm
Hanks'
summer.
son did say it was hot normie summer.
I cannot tell a lie.
Ted Hanks.
That's right.
I don't know. Yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure. I love you.
Yeah. You
Listeners,
too, brother.
always a pleasure. Again, I said we got a lot of these planned out, but you know to hit us up at normies_like_us, where you can suggest episodes you want to see. We love that. Or interact with us. Rate, review, subscribe. It helps out the podcast a lot. Or check out our YouTube page where you can watch these videos as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
What's better than listening to a couple of normies, watching a couple of normies, and seeing their
Yeah.
beautiful faces?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, second screen it. go ahead.
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
That's what I do. I'm playing video games. I go, look, my friends are here. They're right there.
Yep.
They're talking to me, kinda.
Yeah.
And
Parasocial
just the
relationships.
Right.
We love
the
'em.
250th episode to highlight that. Shout out to Matt, fan of the show. Thank you so much
Woo!
for all the support, buddy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Shout
Matt,
out to
we
the
love
Cargo
you.
Bay podcast. We said it's kind of our sister podcast.
Absolutely.
We've guested a lot there. We love having Adam on this podcast as well as Brady.
Yep.
Yes, all our past guests. We'd love to have more guests on in the future. Do more collabs.
Yeah, reach
and all
out.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
If you're
Final
a weirdo
Fantasies
who
are
listens to
coming out.
this and you
Yeah, a
like
lot of stuff.
something, email us. Say, can I be on it? We'll probably let you on it. We don't care.
Yeah.
Next
We need to play
episode might
around
be
a
us being
Fortnite
like,
to vet
oh,
your
shit.
personality,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Right.
Think about what a weirdo
Yeah, we
you
don't
are.
have high standards.
No, not at all.
Yeah, they let me on the show, so anything's
Okay.
possible, guys.
Shout out to my brother, an actual professional of the thing that we discussed
An
that we have
expert
on.
in his
That
field.
always
Yeah,
makes
it's
me
great to have a real
incredibly
expert
nervous.
on.
And then Mike asks like really good engaging questions. And I'm just like, oh, my brother's on here.
I studied
Yeah.
the Sean Evans School of Interviewing from Hot Ones. He's the
There we
best in the
go.
game, I think. Yeah.
Love,
Yeah,
love that.
well
Love
researched.
Sean-
We love
Sean
it, man.
Evans.
Uh-huh.
And if you have any ideas for once we finish our trek through the stars in like 3 months, we're thinking about new series to kind of do.
Yeah.
We have one in mind that I don't know if we've mentioned it before, but maybe we'll keep it secret for now. But yeah,
I also want to pitch one to you guys off this pod. So,
Okay, so after this, let's discuss.
to maybe instead of that. Yeah.
Also, our number one fan Matt did say that we should do the Fast and the Furious. I know you guys were dreading it, but that's
right.
always an option.
That's so many. Well, that has to be over a year of content because that's 12
yeah.
episodes, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, if you include Hobbs and Shaw, I mean,
I would
come on.
definitely
Well, I
need
guess that's 11.
3 weeks in between viewings. So we'll
Yeah,
have Fast
yeah.
10 too.
Jesus.
We'll have Hobbs the movie by the time we get there.
Yeah.
Right, and we'll have Fast 12 or whatever the
Yeah.
Fast
So that would be
52.
13 films, 13 months.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I hope
All
not.
right.
I hope we
Yeah.
don't do
Stay
that.
tuned.
Stay
We'll see.
tuned. All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, appreciate it again. 250 episodes been really awesome. Let us know if you have favorite episodes that we've done or anything like that, And for anybody that's been listening for a long time, thank you again. Really appreciate it. We're just
Yes.
Thank you.
We appreciate
so
you so
much.
much, Normies. We love you.
Yeah.
And we are the Normies.
And you were
That's
the
right.
Normies.
Hugs
And
and
you're Normies
kisses
like
from
us.
your hosts.
Normies
This
like
is
us.
Colin.
And Normies like us.
And Mike. That's right.
And this is Jacob. Goodbye,
Have a-
Normies. Thank you.
Have a great day. Yeah.
Have a
Bye.
great night.
Bye. Have a great all the time.
Have a great everything. Unless you're a bad person, then
That's
don't have
right.
anything
Then
great.
don't have a great night
Boo.
or day.
But for the most of you, which all the listeners I know are beautiful people, have a wonderful life. Catch you next time.